What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? How's it going tonight?
Hello, my darlings.
Hello, hello.
What is up?
What's
Look
up?
who's
What's up?
here!
Yeah, we
I'm
got
over here, I think.
we got a special guest tonight. Special guest, Space Ment Grown. Welcome, friend. How are
Hello.
you?
Oh, I'm doing great, guys. How you guys doing?
Dude, I'm great after seeing that new intro that Mad Hatter whipped up for us. It's got those those Vice City vibes, you know, like
First thing I thought of was Miami Vice. I was like, that's dope.
Oh, yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's we might need to change the title to like cocaine cultivation conversation or something like that. But no, we don't support the
Narcos.
yeah, we don't support the narcos in any way, shape, or form. But no, it looks super cool. So thanks, Mad Hatter. And yeah, man, what's going on, Spacemen? Welcome.
Yeah, man. I'm just excited to be here. Been watching you guys for probably since you guys started, man. Since your first show. And then was it like Manny, like one of your first couple shows, right? Did you guys have Manny on like one or two or something like that? And
yeah,
he was
right at the
held
beginning.
up there, man.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
was
think
like
we
Big Green
had,
Guy and fucking
Yep.
Manny.
I think you're right, dude. Well, I think Joint was our first guest. Am I right
Okay.
about that? I don't know. But in either case, you've been listening a long time.
Hell yeah,
way
man.
back, man. Yeah, way back.
It's crazy. How long has it been?
I'll be
man.
about 2 years in April.
Wow. Congrats. It's freaking awesome, guys.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it's good to have you on, man. I've been following
Yeah.
you a long time, you know, on Instagram. Now that I'm back.
Now
on
that you're
Instagram,
back. Hell yeah. The captain is back.
They let me
He's
sneak
back,
in the back door. I don't know. It was unattended, and I just snuck in. There was no one watching. So
Yeah, you knew you had to come back, dude.
I heard you were a backdoor man.
Hey, I got a question though. Have you posted on Vero since you've been back on Instagram?
I admit I've slacked on that front, man.
You
No,
son
I
of a
lost it a
bitch.
while ago already.
Listen,
I tried, Captain. You did good, man. You riled us up good. You rounded up a lot of people. It's just it's too hard to manage more than one. I find myself if I'm
dude, I'm just not a social media guy. Like
Yeah,
I'll
too
post
much.
like posting in one place is enough to ask of me.
Real.
Truly. And
somebody needs to make the generic. You make a post and then you can send. I know they have this for probably some of the major ones, but send it to any social media you want. You know, you make one post and it handles the formatting and all that shit.
They already have some of that shit, but like you
I would
said,
think so, but it probably wouldn't
major
work for like a
platforms.
Vero or a.
Yeah.
I think Cannabuzz could have worked if they had an Instagram importer. I mean, Cannabuzz was annoying and buggy as hell, but if you could have just copied over your Instagram feed without anything else, it may have had a better chance, you know?
Yeah, I admire what Cannabuzz tried to do.
No, for real.
You know,
still trying.
it was a yeah, I know.
Now,
It's tough. I've tried to log in there every now and then. It's a little glitchy.
I have to say, I'm not giving up on Vero.
No, I like it.
Don't take this as a like I'm on Instagram and this is where I plant my flag. No, like Instagram is a tenuous, like I have it right now and it's kind of fun to like, you know, how I like make my little music video stories and shit. That's like, dude, it is what it is. The audience is there right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, but I'm gonna post on both for sure.
One of the things I liked about Vero is also something that I didn't like is the chronological feed. So it's like once you post, that chance of people seeing it is very short. And then like if I didn't post for 5 days, I would notice there were no notifications for 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? Because it had already like flushed down through everybody's feed. And so nothing's perfect, obviously. You know, we just got to deal with Instagram and their stupid harassment on us, you know?
It's nonstop, dude. Nonstop. I already got a post deleted on my new account. Yeah. It's only been like less than a week. I mean, since the last show.
Let you make a new account?
Yeah,
it's
a
go in and
fully new account, no like
new email and all that stuff.
No, not a new email. I just used my like personal email, probably the same one I used for the initial account.
So you literally just did your time.
I just did my
Well,
time. They just
well,
didn't
you know
like.
what, man?
I never got my old account back, and it's like, what the fuck, you know?
Well, what
But
happened to you,
whatever.
dude? I had heard some talking on a different podcast shortly after. Like, there was no way that you were not targeted. There's just no way because you
Yeah,
had
I
multiple
know.
accounts. There's just no way. But
I
what
know.
I heard is that there's people that know people at Instagram, and like people that are a little bit, have those ins, and they can get people to do that.
Yeah,
To
it's like
actually target someone.
it's the Instagram bounty hunting that I've
Dude,
heard
like, go
about.
get
Like,
this guy, and like somebody's really doing
yeah,
it. Like, how much did they
oh,
make
there
to
are.
do that to you, dude? Fucking
I wonder
ridiculous.
I
how
don't
many
know, man.
packs of beans you were worth.
Yeah,
What
how
was,
many?
what was your bounty?
Who knows? But the point is, I snuck back in. I'm
Fuck yeah.
back. You can follow me at Captain Dot Autoflower. I had to stick a period in there. What can you do? You know.
Yeah,
It's
you
been a,
don't pop up super easy anymore. Still, I
really.
think I have to get all the way to the dot.
They already shadow banned me.
You're
See,
already
like
banned.
I'm
I gotta
already
get all the way to the
on the
dot.
naughty list. It's funny. Like, yeah, they already banned a post or deleted a post, and yeah, it's crazy, man. But
I had a reel deleted the other day for copyright, and I'm like, wait a
Oh,
minute, you
really?
guys are
That you use
supplying
their
the fucking
music,
music.
right?
Yeah.
Get Instagram, dude.
yeah, I mean that's why that's why. And as to your point, I should still follow through with my Vero mission. It's still a noble and worthy cause. Like we need a place that's not going to delete us on a whim. I mean, that's every time I make a post on IG now, I'm like, do I really want to put in the effort to even write this? And you know, it could not be here tomorrow. And every time my feed refreshes, I'm expecting that black screen of death
Dude.
to pop up with, you know what I mean? Like it's just
Every time there's even the tiniest glitch, like
every
my
single
heart
time.
You're like,
jumps into
what's
my throat.
happening, right?
Every
Where's my
single
page? Where's
time.
my page?
Yeah, no, and like that's a feeling that I'm sure most of the people in the community have. It's just listen, Instagram doesn't want us there, and we should still be looking to move elsewhere. So, man, I need to follow through. You're right. You're right. But like,
That's
you
like
know,
real estate. Location, location, location. And this is where everybody
Well,
is.
they have it. Yeah, they have it. They're like, you're gonna do what we say and deal with what we make you deal with, and that's it.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I mean, how many accounts do you have now? That's the one thing I noticed about you is you kind of like you have like one main, and then you have a bunch of like tentacles.
No, I only have the one backup.
No?
Yeah, I
All
just got the Space
All right.
McDrone with the underscore. Which I probably should spend more time on that one, building that up before I lose the main one, but it's one of those things where how stoners are, and I get a strike and then I make a post, please go share my or go to my backup, and then I
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
about it until it happens again.
I hear
But
you.
it's good enough now. I think a lot of us know enough people in here, and the community's been great to us, and we probably wouldn't get up to our normal or what we're at now easily or quickly, but I feel like we could reach a lot of the people that give a shit about us, through everybody that we already know. Some of the companies would probably reshare our stuff, or um, everybody always goes on those, like, when someone has a new page or a new backup, you start seeing everybody's stories, and it's really cool because that's the only way we can not get lost.
Yeah, true.
You know.
Truth. Well, I mean, I want to thank you for
Thank you.
following me on over to Vero, and then
Appreciate it.
following my new page and stuff. So,
Oh yeah. No,
yeah,
I
man.
dig the quality over at Vero. It's smooth. It was the opposite of Cannabis, for real. It was nice.
Yeah, right. Well, so what are you smoking on tonight, my friend? What do you have in the old pipe or bong or joint?
Yeah, we've been doing like rolling stuffing cones, right? I
Okay.
used to roll really good joints. I used to roll before this whole tip stuff that everybody does, which I love, by the way, because it hits good the whole way.
Wait, what?
And
What
I
stuff?
really like the tips. So I'm like, I
Tips.
need to really start practicing. I have enough weed to practice. So I've been practicing with using these rotini noodles. You probably can't even see, but it's a
Wait,
fucking
dude. What are we talking about? Tips,
rotini.
rotini
Yeah.
noodles.
Well, yeah. Instead of the cardboard tip, can you see that?
Yeah,
That's a
he's
It's
not.
you
You're
that's a
not
mean
the
freaking
like
first person
the
I've heard
mustard-only
that from.
rotini noodle, man.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard a couple of
all
people
right.
do that shit.
dude,
Gotcha. You
they
mean like the little cardboard filter thing you put it like
instead of
the
that,
base?
you put
Okay.
yeah, I put the little spiral noodle in there, and it spirals the smoke around, and it
Like
hits solid the whole way through. It's freaking it's pretty dope, dude.
wait,
And
you
it's
have like
hilarious, and it's a good conversation starter when you go somewhere and you tell them that they're smoking on a noodle, and everybody gets a big kick out of it. You know,
you're telling me that the rifling effect of the little
I
like the stipples in the macaroni noodle like affect the
I I,
velocity of the
I can't
smoke
say
coming
that
into
for
your lungs?
certain, but I think that it does affect it, man. There's a glass tip company that has a bunch of holes and they experiment with the direction, and they're like $40 a tip, dude. I can't do that. I can go buy a box of noodles and get as many choices as I want, but they are experimenting with like how the smoke goes through and all that, and it's pretty
Interesting.
cool, man. Yeah, I'm digging it.
So it like spirals it around a little,
Yeah, it cools
creates
it
a little
maybe, you know.
vortex.
My
Hmm.
main thing is that it keeps it open. It doesn't get gooey and resiny like when we were younger, and you have to keep separating or pulling little nasty buds out of the bottom of the joint and trying to make it work. And then like the cones are super small filter tips. So sometimes they don't even hit as well as I like, depending on how you pack them. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, I can do this my damn self. So yeah, I've just
All
been
right,
practicing
word.
with it, dude, and yeah, I've been pretty happy with
I
it.
like it. So what are you packing them with?
Well,
What
I
you got,
was
man?
gonna decide. I got a mango aisle here from the Mango Smile Grow Along,
Hmm.
um, and that joint didn't turn out as nice as I like. So I rolled up a Gorilla Skittles, which I really love too, from Fast Buds, which I had just harvested, and that's one of my favorite autos, dude. Like it's got a nice funky flavor, nice funky smell. Um, I- Not quite. It reminds me of my Crescendo photo period, which was one of my favorites that I've had, and it has a strength. That's one of the things that a lot of autos, I'm sure you've seen yourself. It's almost like the concentration of flavor is just not quite, at least of the photos that I've grown. The photos that I've grown, the flavor's been a little bit more strong.
For
You
sure.
know, so
Hmm.
like this Gorilla
Yeah, we
Skittles
talked
was
about that
really
on
up
the
there.
show before.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a deeper flavor from photos.
Yeah,
The Gorilla Cookies is one of the like signature Fast
that's the one
Buds
basement
strains, right?
our basement grow show now. It's not Autoflowers anymore.
Hmm.
Probably because of what we're discussing right now. I always love autos though. They're fun, and yeah, I will always
Yeah.
fucking grow autos.
I mean, it does seem like I mean, just in some way, it seems like the trend lately is that autos are kind of like where beginners start. You know what I mean? Like that's just whether right or wrong. It seems to me like a lot of people are cutting their teeth with autos,
Which
and
is great for their skills, because I know me and you sort of started photos around a similar time, and it was like easy because you I felt like I could be lazy with it,
yeah.
like I didn't have to be on my toes as much. Like oh, I don't feel like going down there and training them. I'll hit them up in a couple days, because
Hey,
you
I
own the
I feel
clock.
the same way. Well, you mean about photos or
Well, yeah,
autos?
photos, because you can be lazy about not having to go, and like with autos, you're on a timer. Training has to start when you want. If you train, it has to happen between these times, and if you
Yeah.
don't, that's it.
See, that's
With
why I
photos,
don't train.
yeah, a lot of people don't. That's my
It's like
favorite
cats
part, though,
and
man.
dogs. You know, it,
Yeah,
photos and auto periods. They're like cats and dogs. Some people prefer one, some people prefer the other. They're both four-legged domesticated animals at home. One is slightly more high maintenance than the other. One is slightly more independent than the other. They have to be fed slightly
Yeah,
differently.
I
It's
like it.
just
and one of them is so pungent it will ruin everything if it gets their freaking pee on it.
Right, like
Which one are we
there's
talking about?
different
Yeah, I
there's
think that the
different
cat would
things,
be the
you know?
photo period because
There-
they,
there-
man,
there's room for both, you know, and
yeah, for sure.
I've said
Yeah,
it
and
before.
it's
Even I
whatever
think,
your
you know,
jam is.
even a couple weeks back, I think one of the missions of this show is to end the stigma of autoflowers or shit because they're just fucking
Absolutely.
not, you know,
No,
flat
We're
out, you
getting
know.
there, man.
They're not
Like,
straight up.
yeah, not at all.
Dude, I
Now,
mean, just in like the last 15 years, they've come leaps and bounds from where
See,
they
I'm
were.
thankful to not have
Even the
any
last 10
memory
years.
of that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
even in the 3 years I've been growing them, they've come, you know, a decent amount. But I'm thankful that I came into it 3 years ago
Well,
because it was already at this level almost, you know.
that's why it's hard for a lot of people to not take them seriously because they were an absolute
Yeah,
joke. Like, you
yeah.
know, really not that long ago.
Lowrider and
Yeah, yeah. So like when people when that's their first experience with it, right? They're not going to go back, right? It's just like if you have a bad experience doing something or you know, consuming something, you're not going to want to go back to it, right?
well,
It's just
especially
that
when you know everything's working for you right now. So why?
yeah, and then in this industry, people tend to want to like just dig their heels into what they're doing and they don't want to learn new stuff anyway because it's easier for them to just stay in their bubble. So like, you know, like dinosaurs, like I call them. Like you just don't want to advance and learn. Like dude, I swore years ago that I would never grow with LEDs. Are you fucking
Yep.
kidding me? Like no, I'm not never, because the ones I tried were garbage, right? But then I quote unquote saw the light
it's
and
like
started
the
seeing what
one.
was going on, and you got to be able to adapt and change. But like
For sure.
you know, if you piss on autos a long time ago, let me tell you that you should fucking really consider giving them another go.
The
You know?
For sure.
blurples, man,
With
the
the
old
right breeder, for
LEDs
sure.
look like makes your plants look like space mint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the vibe I get. It's like your plants in a club, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Which I mean, dude, it works. It's just like, yeah, that wasn't it yet. That was like that shouldn't have been people's first foray into LED lighting. Just like Lowrider shouldn't have been people's
No.
first foray into autoflowers. It just left a bad taste in people's mouths about like a new cool thing that had a lot of potential, and then they turned their minds off to it. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I don't
luckily
know.
for autoflowers, the world started to open up and prohibition started to fall off the map. And that's when autoflowers started kicking it up. That's when it got
More
flooded
homegrown.
with a whole bunch of new growers that are like, wow, these autoflowers sound kind of easy. We can
See,
do
that's the
those."
funny part though, is because I can see I'm thankful that I learned on autos. I'm super thankful. Like we were talking about earlier, it prepared you more to grow photos. But
I'll agree with that.
if I seen a new grower right now, depending on their situation, I would probably suggest a photo period to start out just so they can mess up and still, you know, have something at the end. Or I would, you know, say, hey, this is how I learned and it was harder and you may not have the best success at first, but you will be better for it.
Yeah,
You know, but
I think autos are that mechanism of like easiest way to point A, like or point B.
they
Like
could be. They
I think
could be,
autos
but
are.
dude, you see
It
how many
could be, but
beginner, that's
one
the way to
problem
do
there,
it.
like
autos are out there.
1 week of bad watering and you have a quarter-ounce plant.
Serious, dude, there are so many that I
I've
see
seen
out
people
there.
stunt so many autos,
Ugh,
like they just like this is
seriously.
a cute little thing, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't
I
know.
feel bad for him, you know. It's like shit,
That
dude.
never
What did you
happened to
do?
me, but
oh no,
like
no, but it does happen
I've
to a
had
lot
some
of
little
people.
I don't
ones.
know. Like
Yeah.
I do see it. I do see a lot of people. You know, people struggle with autos as much as people can struggle with photos. I guess.
Totally.
Like
Yeah.
you know,
I
there's
think
a
the
lot
thing
of
is that you can mess up
lot of
with a
variables,
photo
man.
and still be successful. And you can mess up with an auto and still be successful unless it's in that first 3 weeks. If you
I
mess
think
up before 20 days, you messed up. That's it.
with autos, okay. There's all right. Like if you're the kind of person who is gonna like do some research before you start doing a thing, then autos are definitely the way to point B. If you're just the kind of person like, you know, G3 who just you just like popped a bean from like a dispensary bag, right? And you're like, oh, what the
Let's
fuck
see
do I
what
do
happens.
now? Oh
What do
my
I
god!
do?
And like, it's way better that you have a photo because like you gotta like get your environment and then dial it in. And it's like, man, and then do the research about like how watering works and like what kind of nutrients to use. Like for just the kind of person I am, the kind of person I feel like a lot of our listeners might be, like I did research beforehand and I kind of knew what the fuck to expect before I started growing autos. So it like I was able to avoid those common grower mistakes in the beginning. And I don't know, I like it's if you can avoid pretty common grower errors like miswatering, like over or under watering. If you can avoid that and get through the first, I don't know, what would you say, 2-3 weeks with an auto?
24, 20,
I mean,
25
then
days.
you're on fucking cruise control, man.
Oh,
Then
oh
it's
for
like,
sure. Yeah. And then
so
you
I
can
don't
mess
know.
up a little bit. Then you can. You got a little bit of room. But
if you can set yourself up for success, then like it's easier, and in my opinion. And if like with organics and the whole way, like I do things where it's just letting the soil kind of feed the plant and you're not messing around with mixing nutrients. I mean, you could get through the first 3 weeks of literally just learning how and when to water and that sort of thing. And then like as you're more comfortable with that, then you start incorporating some like nutrient mixing and week 4. I don't know. I feel like autos are easier than people say they are. Like they are finicky and they can stunt, but like if you get, you know, the superior genetics, it can mitigate a lot of that sort of stuff, you know?
yeah, there's some that'll definitely take whatever you can, throw at it, But yeah, I think finicky is probably better than saying that they're not easy. I think finicky is a good way to describe it.
I'd like to say that, like, photos are definitely a little bit more forgiving, and as
Yeah, for
far as
sure.
mistakes that you can make. And like, for instance, if you have a pest problem, you can eradicate it and take care of it before you flip. Or if you have like a
Sure.
deficiency and you start to see your some, like, magnesium deficiency and stuff like that, that's something you'd want to take care of before you flip. With autos, you don't have that control. The
That's
other
so
thing to
nice.
the other thing to consider, and this is what I see all the time, I see people kill it, right? And then they end up jamming their tent, um, with like 6 autos in the 4x4 or more, or even more, and then you run out of space. So
Yeah.
there's a
That was
lot to
me.
be considered.
That was me.
Dude, it happened to a lot of fucking people. My first time
That was
growing
me.
it, I tried to shove a shitload of autos into a tent because
Dude.
my first experience with autos was
Little
way
ones.
back when, and they were like tiny little things. You know what I mean? So
You're
I was
like,
like,
I
oh,
can fill this up.
I'm gonna throw a bunch of these in there, and then I ran out of room quickly. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
like
4 is max.
even that
4
can
is
be a
max.
bitch
Yeah.
sometimes, right? Like
It's a
G3,
lot.
how many did you do in your 4x4? I think you said 3.
3, and I
Yeah,
felt that was
Yeah.
almost
I would
pushing it.
not.
Yeah.
That was they were happy. If they would not have been happy if there were 4 in there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it kind of depends on the person and the
And the
individual.
plant too,
Yeah.
You
Look,
got little indica leaners in there.
everybody
Could
has their
fit more.
preference. You'd probably be surprised to hear this, but I would actually probably steer people towards autos because I think they can be a tad easier. Um, but there's caveats to everything. I mean, like,
Well, yeah, I think the situation needs to be like, do you need only one? Do you have room for one tent? Can you seal up the light? So there's a lot of things that each
Yeah,
situation, like you would
and
guide them a lot better.
Mhm.
that's a great point, man. Like, and that plays a lot into it too for me, where it's like
Yeah, for sure.
you don't need a perfect environment for autos, like,
Yeah,
and that's for
that's
the way I
huge.
look at it is,
That's a big plus.
yeah, mastering the environment and controlling that aspect of it is one of the biggest, if not the biggest challenge for a new grower. Like even
Yeah.
more so than learning the mysteries of watering.
Yeah, yeah. I think a
You
lot of
know?
people don't consider what happens when the lights go out. Right?
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
That
man.
humidity spike that you get,
and the
and shit like
cold.
that.
Shit, man.
I'm in a basement in Chicago area, dude. Like
Mm.
right now, my tent, I have a little flat heater in there that I just got a year ago. Thank God. it is just a little flat panel. I don't know, it's like this big maybe,
Mhm.
and it'll keep my tent at 78, 80 degrees easily without even like stressing it too much. Because as long as I'm not exhausting right now too much. But before I had it, it would get down to 50, 52 sometimes, and
Holy
yeah,
shit.
it gets cold down here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a little too much. I mean, anything more than
yeah,
like 10 or 15 degrees, you're asking for trouble. Plus, the
seriously,
plant's just not going to be happy.
Now,
Why don't
all right.
you
that
tell
was
us a little bit
huge.
more about how you grow, like what?
Wait,
Well,
real quick. I'm just putting like the connection together. Is the name Spacement is like you have a basement that looks like space, and that's where
Well,
you
yeah,
grow?
it basically turned into the spaceman. It's like a rave cave type place, like
Rave
Nice, nice,
cave.
a
nice.
I
rave
like
cave,
that.
Love it.
trip den.
Rave cave.
I think there's
Hell
some
yeah, dude.
subreddits called each of those, but we have a pool table on the other side that is you know how they have like bar lights above them sometimes.
Oh
We have
yeah,
two 4-foot blacklight tubes
yeah.
and blacklight glow in the dark balls, and then I put like glow in the dark tape in the pockets and around there. So it's
Nice.
like blacklight pool, and there's lasers and all that. So that was
Oh my
the way
gosh.
we had fun before children, and then those fun nights down here got a little bit less. And then now
Yeah,
it's
but
turned
now the kids
into
must
the
like it.
Spaceman Grill. Oh, they love it, and but it sucks now because before we were growing, like we have a family party or like other kids were here. They always wanted to come in the basement with the lights, and now I got tents down here. So well, it's been COVID for the last couple of years, so we haven't had any huge parties with kids. But next time they all want to come down to the basement, I'm gonna have to tell them they can't. It's like sorry, now it's Spaceman grown.
Nice, nice. And
So
I just made the connection, man. But
hell yeah.
No,
I'm
but
sorry,
before we
Melissa.
even get
What
into
was
the
her?
grow style shit,
Yeah, yeah.
totally forgot, dude. The fuck you smoking on tonight, Captain?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
dude.
moved on.
We just
Wow.
get into tangents. I know we do. I'm smoking on that Star Spangled Banner that I did a my smoke report Sunday. I was back at it, right? And I wrote up a nice little uh couple paragraphs of what it's all about, and it's way more purple than I thought it was. Um Especially when ground up. Now, like I wouldn't even have thought when it was growing that this was going to be purple at all. It's crazy. It's almost like a half and half, and the outside of the buds is like green, but the inside is
That's
all this
cool.
it's all this
Had
color.
that
So
Secret
happen before.
purple. She
You know what?
tricked
See,
What
you
did
into
that with
it.
me is
yeah,
Toothless Alien from Mephisto was like that for me.
nice.
that's cool.
No purple at all, but when you grind it up, you look at the grinder like it's purple.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Do they
that's
do they
kind of
smoke like a green plant or bud, or is smoke like a purple bud? Like which one do they?
well.
that's
So
a great
that's
question.
the question. Like exactly right, and we all know how I can feel about some purple strains.
Yeah,
Can be just
Undying love and
downright disappointing.
admiration.
I love growing
No,
purple strains. I
just
found
I
I
know.
love growing
I
them.
love growing them. I don't love smoking them.
Yeah,
Right? Like I love
I'm
growing them and
with
taking
you.
pictures of them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
seriously,
There are
and that
exceptions to
let me
every
down
rule.
myself. There
There
are
are
But
exceptions,
exceptions. Yeah.
but I mean, they're yeah
so
for the most part, it's yeah. Well,
this one
Man,
is more like green than a purple
that's
in
good.
terms of just it's got a lot of terps. You know, it's got the banner terps, if you know what I mean by that. If you know you've grown any of those Night Owl, Bruce Banner 3 from Dark Owl, or any of those resulting crosses like Queen's Banner,
Yeah,
Pope
I've seen a ton
Banner.
of badass Queens banners, and I think
Yeah, that one's
probably
good.
all of them. I think honestly, whatever that one got crossed with, there are some killer
Yeah,
ones out there.
yeah, you've seen
really.
that. I've seen that in a lot of crosses.
I think
Yeah,
like that's
I
the
mean, there's got to be a
strawberry
reason
milk and
why, right?
cookies
yeah.
was
Yeah.
one of them. The strawberry milk and cookies was one of
Mm.
those crosses. Um,
What is
my
that across of?
personal favorite.
What
Wait,
is that across
sorry,
of?
which one?
The strawberry milk and cookies.
That was the Bruce Banner crossed with milk and cookies.
Huh,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
cool.
Milk and Cookies, which is like a forum stomper crossed with Cosmic Queen, I think. Yeah. So
Nice.
it's got everything in there, man. Like we were talking last show, the F2s, or I think last show, the F2s came out. We'll see what people's pictures of them look like, but yeah, no, all the banner crosses, man, have been incredible.
Yeah.
They gives like a real nice dank strawberry kind of flavor to everything that it's crossed with, and I think the Star Spangled Banner, the one I got right here, is the Bruce Banner crossed with Blue Microverse, which is another. It's one of like the Night Owl signature strains, I think.
Yeah, people love that one.
Yeah,
I've never smoked it.
The like F6, I think it's at now.
5 or 6 at least, yeah.
Oh,
So hold on. And again, I need my theme song, guys. I don't know. We gotta have a bong rip theme song here.
Something we need to
E3,
work
sing
on.
us a tune.
Yeah, right.
All I can think of is the tune to Bluey, and then that's gonna get us
Oh,
like
dude.
copyright knocked out right away.
Bluey's awesome, though. Bluey's awesome. I was just talking to Bluey walking home my daughter early with another parent. And like, there's way worse things the kids can be watching. Bluey is
Oh my gosh, it's
definitely
brilliant.
cool. I love it. Yeah.
So it's, dude, I recommend
Bluey?
Bluey and Star Spangled Banner. Exactly. But what about you, G3? What you got? What you smoking?
So this is the Miracle Berry from Night Owl that's supposed to be in Cure, and I can't keep out of.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that's how I
She's
do
not
it,
gonna
too.
make it in out of Cure. She's just not. I'm like, how is there only this much left? That's the problem.
Uh-oh. Are you using growth
That's my
bags or
typing.
jars, or what are you using?
Jars. I'm back to jars. I used
What?
growth bags for a little
Back?
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back
How
to
could you
jars.
throw me your bag?
Jar Crew.
Dude,
Yeah.
I use jars for everyday smoking, but dude, I have a bag full of bags that would fill up a
I find
shelf
they
of
lose
jars.
their efficiency overall. I do have them and I use them and I find
Wait.
that they work well. It's just I find that after like I don't think that I can't get them clean enough. So I know that those like micro holes that are allowing the bag to like stay at that correct humidity
Okay.
are getting clogged up. So after probably 3 to 4 cures and like storage in those bags, I find that they're just really not as effective as I want them to be. And
Okay,
then the
yeah, because mine have
shipping
all
is
stayed in the one bag.
prohibitive. Oh,
Yeah,
the
it's
shipping is just
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
And then they send it to you in like a little plastic bag that costs them $2.50. It's so funny. They
Kicking the
charge like
nuts, I'm
$12.
telling you. God, it's awful.
Well,
So
do
But
they work
great.
though?
No,
they work.
They work great.
For
dude.
the, but then you gotta.
I haven't reused any. I've reused a couple. I didn't even clean it, and I thought the same thing, like you said, that the resin will have to if you use it a few times. I mean, it makes sense.
yeah. And after
but
a while,
I'm
using
a
it
like
one
jar
time,
guy
like,
too, but I have a buddy of mine that's done some testing, and he runs a pretty big facility. He's telling me that with the Grove bags, they're losing 3% less.
Wait,
Due
so
to
they're better.
yeah, so yeah, he prefers the Grove bags.
Yeah, no, they're amazing, dude, and just for space
3%
savings, dude.
less
over
From
like
the
for how long?
from the burping and curing. I didn't get into it, but
Gotcha. Like
yeah,
Like,
so like
absolutely first time through,
so
brilliant,
after
awesome.
it's
Second
dry,
time through,
basically, instead of like burping the containers and
Gotcha.
stuff like that, they just throw them in the fucking Grove bags, and he's telling me he's getting a better end product and losing less. So
yeah, but
So-
they don't
Yeah.
stay effective over time.
yeah,
it's just
I don't
like
think.
I'm not a
Yeah.
big fan of them personally because I like to
have
have.
you-
I mean, I think they have their purpose, right? But for me, I'm just a jar guy, and I think I always will be.
I'm seeing.
I love jars, but they take up space. They're
They do.
clanky. They break. They're
They're a pain
burping
to
them is a
clean.
pain. Dude, before I did Grove bags, I had a couple big harvests, and I had to find a better solution than a bunch of quart mason jars. So I got gamma lids and food safe buckets,
Mhm.
and they're the spin like food lids.
Yeah,
So they
Yeah.
dude, that was the game changer before Grove bags, and those are still useful now. Like like if I didn't think they were dry enough or something, I can, stick them in the bucket, leave it open, or, just burp it in there a little bit to get it where I want it.
Mm-hmm.
If I need to. So they're still convenient. They take up a lot of space still, so the bags are just the space savings and no burping. Even if there was a little bit of negative, I don't see anything yet, at least, but I think those two are really
Well, I think
huge pluses.
they have their positives. Like for
Yeah.
instance,
For
with
sure.
a jar,
Absolutely.
with a jar, right? You want to have it appropriately sized to your stash, right? Because if you leave too much air in there or you jam it too tight, you're not going to have great results. Okay.
Mhm.
Exactly.
With the bags, for instance, I had a nug that Mac had left in
Nice.
one of those bags, right? It was a huge fucking bag.
Huge bag, though. Yeah.
Just one
with a
nugget
nug,
in.
right?
Big.
And I was picking off that nug for like a solid, a couple of weeks, and open it up, and it was fresh as fuck every
Still
time.
stayed nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I mean, I think they're great, but what I've noticed about them is a lot of times, like if you just want to throw it in your bag and go, you get like your product gets like squished and shit like that. So
Yeah, my bags stay like away and
Yeah.
out. That's like my main thing. And then I have little jars that I fill up that get, smoked. So
I
they
think
never get
they're awesome
handled.
for. That's the best way to handle it. I think they're
Yeah.
awesome for long-term storage, but where
Mhm.
people are trying to use them as their everyday stash jars.
No, I wouldn't do that for sure.
Yeah, and that's where I don't think that that's their place, and I don't even think that when Grove Bag came up with the design, I don't think that was their
No, they're like
paying
more the
attention.
curing, and I'm wondering where their technology came from. It has to be from
It's
some kind of
wild,
food,
honestly. It blows me away.
And
Yeah,
because
I'd love to know
how is it so
personally.
different than like there's a
The fuck if I know, man.
zip zag bags, like they sell bags that are smell proof, and they're not even like mentioning cure because they don't have whatever that technology is. They're
Yo,
supposed to be really good for storage, but
Mhm.
it's like, what is that? Obviously they say there's 3 layers or something, but it's like I'm just wondering what industry that came from. Like I doubt that they
Magic?
completely
dude, I
you know
mean, I don't know. Like, is it different than
Yeah,
I
that's the
mean,
thing. Who
than a
knows,
normal
right?
bag?
Who
Like, that's
knows?
my question.
Yeah,
Because
right.
honestly,
Just
dude,
selling us a
you know what's
Ziploc,
you know what is an amazing piece of technology? Fucking mason jar.
Oh fuck
You
yeah,
know how
dude! It
long it
works.
took for this little piece of magic to get developed
Yeah,
over the
these are
course
our
of
little like I have a basket
decades?
of 4-ounce jars.
Hundreds of years using this little, well, 100. I think actually the mason jar is from around like 1870 if I'm not mistaken. Probably earlier. Sometime in the 1800s, but like, dude, it's here. I mean, this I wash, I don't have to like, yeah, I got to get like a case of them and then a couple different sizes like Monster said cuz you don't want to like, honestly, I should think about moving this
That's the next
into the
size down,
size
right?
down, right? I should, like, once
Look at
it's
that.
about a
Yeah.
quarter, that's when you put it in the next jar. But like,
The
it's
jar shuffle.
and they get unwieldy, man. I got like fucking milk crates full of jars, but
Yeah.
like,
That's a good idea, actually. You can stack them. That's a good idea. Shit.
yeah, it works, dude. And no, I mean, I'm a cheap guy. Like, I find them on sale. You find some big jars at Home Goods sometimes. You get those real nice ones
They're
with
like
like the
huge ones.
yeah, the huge ones with like the clasp
Well, be
lid.
careful with
Mhm.
those, dude. Those okay. Just know, I've trusted those, and the super driest shit I ever seen in my life. A few months later, I had to eventually put a piece of cardboard on them. It was 2 of them. There's both of them. I had to
To
put
make
like
it
cardboard
stiffer.
in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it just was not enough, dude. So
Yeah.
just be
Yeah.
careful with it. Test it. I don't know how you can test it,
Mhm.
but yeah, put some
Word.
cereal in there. See if it's stale in a couple weeks. Before
True. I
you
mean,
trust it with your weed.
I think like maybe with the mason jars, you gotta put them in like you really really want to like preserve your weed. You gotta like do the thing where you vacuum seal it. You put them in like a hot water, and you get the like the bubble, like, you know what I mean, like the
Mhm.
Well, I have some of these that
old
have the
timey
jar
method.
sealer. I have
Yeah,
sealed before I got them. You can put the thing on there, and
Mhm.
it attaches to my what is it? The food saver, and
Mhm.
it sucks the air out and it locks them down.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, you can't really mess with them. They work great. I mean, I think these are half gallons.
Again, kind of like
This is
autos
pretty
and
dope.
photos. There's a place for both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
and
I like
I always fall in the middle with all of it. I'm like, I like it all, dude. I don't want to. I'm gonna
Yeah,
use jars. I'm
yeah.
gonna use
Nor
the grow
should you.
bag.
Like, there's people that hardline stance with like
Yeah,
too
fuck
many
that,
shit.
dude.
Like, oh no,
Yeah.
fuck that. You know, I just for me personally, like I have food grade buckets with gamma lids for
Those are the best, dude. For real,
for
those are so good.
for large quantities of storage, and then for my everyday shit, regular mason jars of various sizes.
just do what G3 does and smoke your stash before
smoke
you
it
have
first.
to worry about it.
No problems.
There
Yeah.
you go.
think that's
Do
the
you have
solution.
any grove bags, Captain? Have you used them yet at all?
I do, yeah. I
you
have
do?
a couple buds in them, and like again, I have no qualms with them at all.
Yeah.
Like I find they work very well for their intended purpose, but like it's cheaper in the long run to just buy jars, and they work fine too. And I'm
But
not
if you
like
think about it, where if you have half pound, quarter pound, and like full pound, if you have like a half pound plant, how many? That's probably
Good
two of
point.
these huge,
Well,
2 or 3 of these huge jars, which are not cheap. So I
you're
don't
right.
know
Like
if it is cheaper. I really don't
this
think it is when you think about
this
the
size
amount.
jar, which is shit. Got to do
Well, it's
my
cheaper in the long
30
run
I think
because
that's
the
32
jar will
ounce
be
jar,
used
right?
unless you break it. I mean, the
You
jar is
reuse it,
usable.
yeah.
I
So
think
yeah,
this is
again,
Definitely.
a quart
whatever
jar,
you like.
right?
quart,
This is a
Yeah.
quart.
Those
So
hold
I
about
can
an ounce, like
yeah,
30
yeah. I
grams
was
or
just gonna
something.
say I can fit about an ounce. Maybe if it depends,
You can get
you
two in
know,
there.
the moisture
If
You
content.
could maybe, yeah,
like dense rock hard buds, I fit in two
yeah.
in there.
I mean, it
Yeah.
depends
100%.
on the moisture content of the buds and all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
freshly
Sure, yeah.
dried, I mean, right at the tent, I'm gonna get probably 35 tops grams in a jar like this. But like, yeah, like I mean,
And if you have
agreed.
200 grams off the plant, you know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah,
need a
and
6
6
pack of those
plants.
jars.
Yeah, then like yeah, I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. It took a long time to
Yeah.
build up my stash of jars.
Yeah, I still have the stash of jars, but now half of them are empty and they're taking up the same space as if I was using them.
It's so well. Like you got to put them to use somehow, you know.
Oh,
Like you
no,
can't.
they're still being used, and I use them a lot with like making my FICO or RSO. I use that for
Nice.
alcohol, and
Molotov cocktails.
yeah, you did good.
Did
But
I
I
say that?
distilled alcohol back, so I can use the jars for that. So they get used for sure.
That's
know,
cool. Like so.
Can't really
so you
mess with a
do.
mason jar.
How do you? So you do RSO? That's pretty cool.
That is, dude, it's hilarious. That is my go-to, and I mean, I smoke. I don't even smoke every night anymore, but I usually like vape, like a Dynavap or something. And my wife and I will smoke joints and shit sometimes, the bongs every once in a while. But I take RSO in MCT oil, so I basically make the RSO, and I have a distiller, so I get 70% of my alcohol back every time. And then I have the concentrate in a syringe, so I take that and I have 60 mils of MCT oil. I heat it up and I'll put in like a measured amount, like 20 milligrams per mil or something, and I can dose it like that. And then I've added CBD isolate to it too. So like that's sort of my go-to throughout the day. I'll sort of like microdose that almost, sort of like
Well,
ride.
how do you know like the strength of the?
Well,
the
I guesstimate that the RSO is going to be about 700 milligrams per gram. It's just sort of a rough, guesstimate.
Yes, like
Yeah. So
right,
every gram that I put in there, I say 700 milligrams. So I'll put a little bit over like 2 grams to hit that 20. And then with the isolate, you can put the full like if I want 20 milligrams of CBD, I would put in 2 grams of isolate. But it's great, dude, because I sort of like ride this like line, like some days I'll accidentally take a little bit too much and I'm a little higher than I should be throughout the day. But usually I'm riding a nice thing where I'm, completely cool, and then later I can, just double it up or whatever.
Like I ride that line with bong rips. So
everybody's got a way of getting there,
I kind of got to like save my lungs for the. That's kind of like where I'm thinking these days. I just I got to get off the bong somehow.
Have you ever tried like,
The
because I didn't like
vapes
vaping for a
vapes
while.
don't do it for me. Yeah,
Well,
honestly, like I don't get that high from vapes. I don't know
it's
why.
a different high.
Um,
And like, have you ever tried a Dynavap? Have you ever seen what you know what that is? It's like
Those
a
things
looks
are
like a
uh,
fucking
dude,
pretty
I
cool
don't know
piece of
if I have.
technology, and it's just a
No.
piece of metal. I'm
it's
impressed with it.
a
Yeah,
fancy one hitter. It
yeah.
looks like what we know as one hitters, a bat, but it has
Mhm.
a cap on it and it's fancy looking and it's way more expensive than you would think it should be before you ever use one. And you
Mhm.
can use it. You heat it like with a torch, or the way that the what turned us on to it, the like allowed us to like fully embrace it and not smoke as much, was induction heaters. You put it in the heater and you hit a button and it heats it up to a perfect amount, and then it clicks, and then you hit it, and then you put it back in, hit the button until it clicks again, and you hit it, and it's like there's nothing better
It's
flavor
a it's a
wise.
it's a it's a vape
All
that
right,
you can
all
use with,
right.
heat instead, or a lighter instead of a
And
Interesting.
battery.
you could use a candle if you have, like,
I
that's the
have
cool thing. It's
to
like it's
do a
what do
little
you call it?
research.
Apocalypse proof, you know? Yeah,
Okay.
it has a learning curve, and it's like it's not something that you will probably like right away be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do any bong hits." But there's if you look at this one called the Vong, it's like a 10 mil, or what are the bong joint sizes? 10, 14, 12. I think it's like 10, and it would fit in a 10 mil joint. And it's just like you heat it up like you would if you're hitting it, and you can either use your mouth or it fits in like those joint sizes already.
All right,
So,
cool.
Yeah, I've seen people with those like Dynavap inserts in their bong.
oh, dude, yeah, you can put whatever you can put that tip in.
Oh,
You,
oh,
you
no
can
Yeah.
you
shit.
can use the system. It's a really neat thing, dude.
Yeah,
It's
that's
worth trying out.
I've heard that advice before. Got me into trouble
Oh, dude.
down in
But I've
Tijuana.
bought other vapes that they just don't have the same flavor as the Dynavap does. It's a little more work, but the flavor, dude. Once you taste it, I have a hard time smoking or vaping anything else.
All
It's
right,
really wild.
dude, that's what's up.
Yeah.
No, like I
Makes
said,
sense.
I smoke. I'm primarily a bong guy. The odd cone here and there,
Yeah,
but like
that's
even packing a fucking cone, man, it takes too long for me. Ain't
it's a
nobody got
more trouble.
time to be packing cones, sitting there for 10 minutes
Well,
packing a
that's why
cone.
you
All
got
right,
to get yourself
so
a box of rotini noodles and learn how to roll with them. You don't
I
have to
know I
pack
do.
any codes.
But still, like I need some. I feel like RSO is that kind of like a lot of people say that is the full extract cannabis oil
It's a
is like
different
the
thing. It's medicinal more. It's
yeah
more of a full body. It's
for
basically
full
the
body.
edible
All right.
high.
Now,
It's
do you
what the
get
edible high is, but
okay? But is it
it's more
the exact
stronger.
same? Do you get any
It's
of the cerebral effects?
Oh,
Like
dude,
well,
you take enough of it, you'll be
oh,
getting
dude.
plenty of cerebral
Oh,
effects.
all
I've
right,
accidentally over. The reason I
all
use
right,
the
all right.
MCT oil now is because when I was taking it in its full form, a little bit too much is a lot too much, dude.
Yeah,
And I can't
yeah,
sleep then. I'm like freaking flying, dude. Like, no joke. You're like moving like 50 miles an
yep.
hour on the couch. I'm like, I
Mhm.
can't sleep through this, dude. And just
Now,
a tiny bit too much.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, so
Good shit.
now when you make your RSO, are you
Yeah.
just doing like you make like a tincture from like
Well,
Everclear, basically,
basically, yeah. So I
and
what
then you
I do,
dissolve that alcohol off?
yeah. So I'm in a Facebook group since before I even got my card and started growing, and it's MCDIY, like medical cannabis DIY, and it's a bunch
Okay.
of people like even like grandmas and stuff. It's like the crowd that you wouldn't like normally think. Like in a normal pot
No,
group.
I mean, because the FICO or
It's
the
it's
RSO
all medicine,
is
dude.
like the medicinal
Seriously,
way to utilize the plant, truly, and it's like it
yeah.
doesn't hurt your lungs. It's more like there's lots of people
Oh,
out there
dude,
that can't smoke either. Like, I
they
mean, they
can't.
just
Yeah.
even especially like if you are truly trying to use it for medicine, no one in their
Yeah.
right mind is gonna like be in a hospital bed like lighting up a fucking bong. But
But
like,
I
I mean,
can just go in there and be like,
I'd
boop,
probably try.
put a couple try. Yeah, you would. If you're gonna die, why not, right?
I'd be like, yo, nurse.
You got a light?
Depending on what year it is, maybe it'd be cool.
Who knows? Well, maybe.
Roll
I
me to
mean,
the smoking section.
it would probably, in real reality, like if they're going to administer cannabis to patients in like some form in the future, like in a hospital setting, it
It
would
would
be
be a, it would be a
FICO, it would be
liquid or something like
RSO,
that for sure.
it would be
Yeah.
something like that. So like it's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
And
I
now I
could step
have
you through it too, man. Like one day, it's really like I say, in that group has so many people that have tried different ways, and it's basically like a big knowledge resource. Like anytime I need to know how to make something or anything, make medicine out of my flower, I go to that group and I search. It's just
or
it's the best. You should join it if you're on Facebook. It's like
yeah,
MCD
well,
DIY. But so I've gotten my technique from there. Basically, it's called the Q wet, and I'll put like uh, two of these big half-gallon jars full of broken up whatever in my deep freeze, and then I'll put enough alcohol to cover both
so
of
do you
these.
use regular flour? Like,
Oh
do
yeah,
you use
yeah.
it
I'll
or
use some like smalls and shit too,
okay,
but
like
yeah, but
trim?
or older
Trim?
shit.
What about
No,
Yeah,
I,
you
trim?
can
I
use
haven't used
trim.
trim. I haven't used
You,
trim. You could, but I haven't.
yeah,
I
you can use
I got
trim.
Why
I
not?
got so much I could use the flour.
All right. Well, what do you? All right. So like,
So
but
I freeze that, and then I
now
freeze
I
enough
use trim.
alcohol.
That's what I'm saying. I guess that's why
Yeah,
I was
no,
going it. But
yeah,
that's
I
cool.
usually use flour.
All
But you
right. All right.
can totally. I just think the most inexpensive part of this process is the alcohol now. The weed means nothing
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
me as much as the alcohol does. So I'm trying to minimize the amount of alcohol I'm using by using better quality stuff. It's trim. I
Okay.
would have to use more alcohol. You know what I'm saying? And you get more junk in there, more chlorophyll.
All right. So
So,
and like, do you use Everclear for it?
well, yeah.
Like
So I buy Everclear or 200 proof
grain
ethanol,
alcohol? All right.
and you freeze them both. You get them both freezing, and then you put it in. You put the alcohol and you cover it. Shake for 3 minutes, dude. 5 minutes maybe if you want, and then that's it. And then you strain it out
So you get the
and
alcohol as cold as you
just
can.
yeah,
Pour it in
it's
that
deep
jar with all your
freeze.
weed.
Yeah, at least
Deep
24
freeze.
hours.
All right.
And then since it's cold and you're doing it in 3 minutes, the crystals are gonna fall off easier because it's cold, and you're not gonna get the chlorophyll because it's so quick. Like, so this is the way I do it. I do a quick wash and then I strain it. And then all my leftovers I put in one jar and then cover with alcohol again and then just stick it in my freezer and leave it until whenever. Months,
Okay.
6 months. I'll get to it. And I'll strain that. And if you look at the two of them, the quick wash and the whatever, the 6 months or 1 month, it's like golden like awesomeness and like green gook nastiness. So like that one I'll use for topicals, stuff that I'll use an MCT oil and you can use as a topical.
Gotcha.
Um, but the golden stuff is like that's the good shit, and that's what I put in the MCT oil. And then you can do anything with that stuff. You can add it to whatever. You don't even need a fat. Like you don't need a butter to medicate anything. I could use my drops with the MCT oil and infuse anything, literally. Drinks, food, whatever you want. So it's like super convenient, dude. It's like the Swiss Army knife, and it's
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
yeah,
love
it's
that.
That's
cool.
cool, man. Now I have like I have one of those Levo machines.
Yeah, that looks so cool. It's like a
I was
Keurig
posting
or
about.
something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
it's
wheat
basically it
Keurig.
looks just like a Keurig. I mean, you can infuse any oil with it, or I mean, you can make a tincture with it. Um, it's I mean, you can decarb with it too if you want it to do that beforehand. Like that's a whole, different process when you're talking about making these types of things. Like in the process you're talking about, it's not decarbed, so you
Well,
still have to like light,
you can.
right?
Some
Right?
people do decarb, but when I take mine past after I distill, I strain it, distill it. Sorry, I jump around a lot. I strain it, I distill it, so I get some alcohol back, and I have like 100 mils, 150 mils left of concentrated stuff that I put in a beaker on like a cup warmer, and then
Okay.
that I will take all the way down. It'll get all the alcohol out, and then all the bubbles are forming, and the bubbles are going crazy. When the bubbles stop, it's decarbed.
Yeah,
So
all right.
I
So
don't have to decarb it earlier, but for
gotcha.
normal
Like
edibles, you
the
would have to.
evaporating the alcohol is
And
also
if you're keeping it
decarbing
at
it
that heat
at
long
the
enough,
same
and the
time. All right.
bubbles are doing all the work.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah,
Cool, man. No, like that's you don't need a Keurig of alcohol,
but that is
or
so cool to
weed
have.
tinctures to
It's
have.
so
You
cool.
don't need that thing, but like, dude, it fucking really cool. Really, really cool. Now
How do you use it? Are you using like one little, like you making like a batch of brownies or like one thing? Like how are you using it?
So I am a gummy fiend. So I was talking about him last show, I think. Like I had my wife make this batch of gummies. And now I helped, of course, like but she's the real pro and she's, she knows, yeah, I helped. Is there for moral support. But
Yeah.
like she is the real pro here and like she uses the trim that we collect from our operation and it's literally just like a waste product otherwise. It's like I hate seeing that. Like I'll collect it after, I sift it in a trim bin and I'll put it in like a Ziploc and I'll put it in my freezer usually just to store it. And I have bags and bags of this stuff just collecting, and it's like, what do you do with it? So this is a great solution for that. And I don't grow enough personally to be like you where it's just like, I'll just use my like good trimmed like tops and make RSO with it. Like, it I smoke my tops, my
Yeah.
flower.
No, like the good tops are definitely getting smoked. They usually it's probably not super trimmed crazy stuff, but
All
sort
right,
of.
word. But I just feel like,
I feel you.
so like I just want to like use the whole plant.
Yeah.
Use like waste not, want not. And the trim, the not we're not talking like fan leaves trim, like I'm talking
Like
about like sugar
and
leaves,
yeah.
the odds and ends that you collect that have trichomes on them. That's all stuff that's going to make you
Oh hell
great,
yeah.
great concentrate or like tinctures or RSO, like this kind of stuff. So yeah, like gummies for me are the way to go. And we usually make the gummies. So like you don't just like put your weed into this Levo machine and out come the gummies. That's
Gummy.
of course
That would be
that's not
awesome
that's
though.
not how it works. But like you you got to
You need to
make
invent that thing, man. That would sell a lot.
wouldn't that be cool, right? But like, so we basically just make butter, and we use butter, actual butter, to make the gummies with, and it's based on Jello, a little bit of extra gelatin.
Gelatin. Yep.
Um, we let them cool. We'll put them in the freezer, let them harden, and then like take them out, and then like put a mix of like citric acid
Citric
and
acid.
sugar on top of them. So they're like they
Mhm.
look like
Sour Patch Kids.
yeah, they look like Sour Patch red gummy bears, and they taste fucking bomb, dude. They're really really good. And I told you guys like I took about half a dozen of them, and I was like on cloud nine. I was
Nice.
fucking feeling real good, and I can't keep track of dosage, but again, like I don't know. I think the Levo is a really cool purchase.
Yeah. Do you notice, like, since you are using trim, and obviously each bag of trim is going to be a certain level of sugar to, not great trim. Have you
Mhm.
noticed some gummy batches being considerably different? Since you're
Good,
using
good
the same
question.
amount of trim and the same amount of butter, probably to make it right.
Yeah, like so we like the trim's all labeled. You know what I mean? Like so I know which strain, um, which plants I'm incorporating into the batch of butter. Usually we do butter. You can do coconut oil, you can do olive oil, you can do infuse anything you want. I just find butter has the most uses. If you have any left over after you make gummies, you can make brownies, you can, you know, make
Butter
omelets
your
with it.
toast.
For Christ's sake. Yeah, put it on your toast. Um,
Mhm.
avocado toast and weed. It's great. Great. Um, the but yeah, like the different strains definitely have different effects. And
That's
that's
cool.
like yeah, like so it definitely depends on which plants I incorporate into the batch as to like how strong they are and what kind of
Uh,
effects I get from them too. So
yeah, see, I've always wondered that how the terpenes of whatever that determines the effect differences is going to be incorporated into an edible. Because when I'm making
Zero.
my RSO, well, that's what I've always thought. And when I do my RSO, it's always just because I'm doing 2 to 4 ounces at a time, so it's a little bit from 4 different plants usually,
Yeah,
so it's just a big
unfortunately,
mix.
the terpenes don't do anything for you. It's
But like
sativa
he's
indica,
saying,
it
you
doesn't
get
matter.
different
It's
effects
just
based on
THC.
Yeah.
When it comes to edibles, it's just THC as far as like what's happening inside your body. Now smoking
Yeah, that's
is
what I've always sort of thought, you know.
yeah, smoking is a different ball game. But shit, man, we've been going like an hour and we really haven't even
Holy
gone
shit.
into
Oh
you.
my gosh.
Um,
Dude, it has it really? Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I can talk.
So
Well,
yeah, oh, shit, dude, fucking
good.
everybody here can talk.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about your grow style, right? Before I know everybody wants to hear about the photography, but I mean, I kind of feel like that's second, obviously, to
Well,
growing.
I owe my current grow style to you guys. First of all, like I said, that Manny episode, I'm like, that was a point in time where I was growing with 3 gallon cocoa hand watering. If you know, 3 gallons of cocoa is during flower, like 1 time a day is technically not even enough. And
Yeah.
I should have been watering twice a day, and I was trying to treat them like I did the 5 gallons that I never had any issues with. Like the 5 gallons, I could stretch a day and a half, you know, 2 if I really needed to. But with the threes, I noticed that there was no like I couldn't even get away from the house. You know, like
Mm.
we went out on vacation for the weekend. Luckily, it was an hour away, but I'd have to come home halfway through. I would have to water right before I left, and then I would leave halfway in the middle of the 3 day vacation and spend 2 hours driving and a couple hours away from the family. And so I'm like, in this point when your episode came on, I'm like, I was looking at dripper systems, you know, Floraflex setup, the DIY setup I was looking into, and I had always thought autopilot. It's so weird because knowing what I know now, it's completely opposite,
Mm.
or not even. But I always thought autopots were for soil growers. I don't know why I didn't think
I
that,
remember we had talked about this,
dude.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
and then I'm
Like
listening to
it's the
you talk
old like
about
you can't do that with
no,
autopot
that's
fallacy.
dude,
Yep.
It's
and
like
I got into it. Like I didn't even think about him. I had a buddy that used autopots and he was having issues, and I was like, dude, it's probably because it's not meant for cocoa and salt, you know. But I'm hearing you talk about how you grow, and I'm like, dude, that's sort of how I'm growing hand watering. What the fuck? I like thinking about it. I'm researching, and I don't know if you see my photos. It's sort of related, like the honor bags I use, those
Mm.
colorful bags. Like
yeah, I
I'm
love
sort of
those.
addicted to those. Like I just can't really picture my tent without that, or even
Yeah.
like a photo with it. It just I just feel like
Just real
I don't
real
know.
quick. They're honor core grow
Honor, yeah. There's
grow
different. The
bags,
core is the
right?
style. But if you go to Etsy, it's Shop Coda,
Honor.
or just like search honor grow bags. He's got like 3 different levels of breathability. Like core is like the middle one. That's like the standard.
Or
But I found out I didn't even know Autopot had a fabric pot until your show. So I'm learning that. I'm learning that you could do salts and cocoa with it. And I'm like, holy shit. So I start searching and I find out the diameter of those freaking pots. And I realized that my 3 gallon honor bags would fit in the auto pots.
yeah.
So I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude. I'm like, this is it. You know, I can still use my bags, and holy shit. So I reached out to Manny and I was like, I don't even know where my page was at that time. It was probably like half, maybe three. I don't even know. But I was like, dude, you know, I heard you on the show, and um, I will, you know, show him off, whatever. But I really want to check him out. And he was hell yeah, and he sent him out, and like that was it, man. And so that's where I'm at now, is like using those and experimenting with them. Um, I do captain style and I do monster style. I have
Oh
a
yeah.
yeah, I have a 2x2. No, no joke. I got the organic and I have the
No
cocoa.
shit. That's so
Yeah,
funny, dude.
and it's awesome. And I had such a good that platinum Oreos that I shared today. That that buds I shared today. That was grown in a soil mix with craft blend that I top dressed every 3 weeks. So I did like a 2 weeks on the auto pots and then 1 week off. I would dry them out for a few days, water in,
Yeah, yeah,
top
yeah.
dress, and then put them back on a week later.
That makes
Um,
sense.
it worked out really good, and
Yeah.
it gave me back the hand watering that I missed, because I went from hand watering every day for 2 years. Like I would sit Indian style with my plants surrounding me, and
Yeah,
and
I
I
feel that.
enjoyed it. You know, it was like something that was like I don't know, it was the zen of the day. You got to go down and get one-on-one time with them, and that was the only complaint I have with autopots. Besides the less control that I had top watering, it just sort of took that away from me. Like, it was just gone. Like, now I cannot see my plants for 3 days, and I feel bad about it. Like,
Damn.
I should be down there, but with the
Yeah,
2 on, 1 off, I was able to have, time where I would, be able to do that. So there may be a time where I do the big tent, that style, and the cocoa and salts in the small tent. So I don't know. I'm sort of, figuring it all out. But yeah, right now I just switched to Athena, and they recommended the blended. So they sent me a whole bunch of blended to try out. So I figured, like, I never fully dialed in the last ones I had, like the exact amount or whatever. It was a powdered nutrient, Takine 420, which I loved hand watering. I still love it. But I figure, why not try something else, and Athena seems to have like huge like R&D and so many people using it now, and I know you use it, at least the Pro line and shit. So yeah, so that's where I'm at
I've
now.
been pretty happy with it. I do feel like though the whole trust the program is fucking bullshit.
See, I'm trying to trust the program. I'm trying it this one run, and
Yeah, give it a go.
yeah,
I've tried it I've had clients that want to trust the program, and they're not. I mean, the product comes out fine, but like, it's not like cardboard weed like everyone says, but it's just not as good as it could be with if you incorporate some organics,
you
some teas
gotta
and shit,
have.
so.
It's like the program doesn't talk about microbes. I think that's
well,
like
they have that.
online, right?
They have that. So I'm on today's day 6, right? I had like a 2-month break, got COVID, I was sick, and just things didn't line up. So I had 2 months without growing, but I'm like 6 days in right now. And since I had like Dino Myco in my soil, I was mixing up the first batch of Athena, and I'm like, shit, I probably shouldn't put that cleanse stuff in there. Like that's like bleach basically.
Yeah,
it's like a light bleach. Yeah, it's cleanse. It's some kind of Monster probably knows more about it than I do. But
it's not bleach, but it's a cleansing agent meant to cleanse the lines and also cleanse the root zone.
Wait, you put that in?
No, but it's a little bit. It's a different. It's like an atom off of bleach or something.
Yeah, it's keeping the root zone sterile because that's what they preach.
Yes,
exactly.
That'll
the
kill
opposite of
off
like
any of your like
Yeah,
microbiome.
it actually won't kill it,
rhizosphere.
but it definitely fucks it up pretty good.
I would think so. I'm not touching it until I get into the autopots. So like I'm gonna use whatever leading up to that, and then I'm gonna stick with exactly what they're saying.
I don't know if you remember, I talked about this, right? So I was using the cleanse as well because I was concerned about line cloggage with the autopots. And I would use the cleanse, and then I would have to like re-up the microbes to make sure that it's adequate to where I want it. But then we
you were using both of them.
So we had Scott on from Micro Life, and he was talking about the line cleansing properties of the Photosynthesis Plus, which I already use. And he was like, I don't think you need the cleanse. So I gave it a whirl, and it's been working. So
you haven't used it. How long has that been? A while.
Since he's been on the show. I'm terrible with timelines.
You're using the photo.
I listened to that episode too.
Right?
There's a lot of stuff you guys went over in that, man.
Holy cow. Man, I learned a lot, and I've been using the product for years. I honestly didn't think I was going to learn that much. It was awesome. That was a great episode. I learned a shitload from.
And that goes fine in the autopots. It doesn't, because it seems like it's a brown liquid, right? Or
but it break like the smell from it too. Like people complain about the smell. Once you pour it in the reservoir, within a day or so, the smell's dissipated.
Dude, can we just like get into it real quick? Like it was like I didn't even believe that it's as bad as you guys thought. Like talked about.
Terrible.
It is beyond
no way
the worst smell I've ever smelled. It's just like it's unfathomable how bad this smells.
See, I feel like people say that fish shit is so bad, and fish shit smells bad.
Fish shit smell like cologne.
No, fish shit is like they should make a fucking
cologne out of it.
Yankee Candle out of fish shit compared to fucking Photo Plus. Like, my
Yeah, that's what
God.
I hear, man.
Oh, it was.
Both great products, but I mean, yeah, the you're smelling that sulfur and stuff. That's
Yeah.
That's what they're using
Talks
as a
about that's what they use to preserve the
yeah
microbes and
yeah.
keep it like alive in the bottle. And it's like it
Wild shit.
flashes off as soon as you open it, basically. But man, when you crack that seal on Photo Plus, it hits you like a fucking Mack truck.
Does it
You
get
ain't-
used?
you-
You get
you
used
are
to it
not
going
prepared
forward, or
for
is
it.
it bad every time?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of am used to it
Yeah,
personally.
I would say like it dissipates.
Now you're like, yeah.
I don't
sure.
breathe
Yeah.
through my nose when I use it.
Dude,
When I'm like measuring it out and stuff, I breathe through
Dude.
my mouth.
I smelled it the rest of the day. I feel like it
Gross.
stained my like nostrils a little
That's
bit. I was like, I
awful.
kept on smelling it. Like,
So you guys all use it and love it, huh?
uh,
Yep.
I gotta look into that
uh,
stuff for sure.
Yeah,
Good
and don't
stuff.
forget foliar feed with that shit and veg.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
great
yeah.
product. Yeah, I love that
Like,
shit.
Ah, man.
Are those directions on the bottle, or is it like the same
No,
amount?
they actually got rid of those directions because of like
People fucking it up.
people are kind of dumb, and I think there was also some like licensing issues or something, like because then it would have to be considered a pesticide or something. I don't know. Like
Oh,
Yeah,
I
there's
forget what he
yeah.
was saying. Like
Yeah.
there's yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, so
Regulations, red tape bullshit.
Yeah.
so
If you
you're
know,
an
you know. If you don't, you don't.
absolutely, man. So you were an Autopot man. You were an
Yes, sir.
Autopot convert.
Yeah.
Now, I did
Yeah,
want to. I
full
saw
time.
someone real quick before, like you mentioned the Honor Core bags, which are awesome. You can use those with Autopots, but now they make a specific bag
Yes, it's
that is
okay.
bigger
So
than the
the
3 gallon.
difference with that bag is, so when you said core at first, core is like the standard breathability fabric. On the auto pod or bottom watering bags they came out with, he raised the height, so they went from 3 gallons to 4 gallons, and the bottom is the hell does he call it? The bottom is a flow, which has more breathability. Like you could see the holes in flow, and that's at the
Whoa.
bottom. So it just sort of lets the water in the bottom of the pot easier, just for
Was
bottom
that
water.
intended to be used with autopods, or is that just a fancy
It
coincidence?
was,
It's like
it
my
was,
great aunt is
yes,
named Flo.
and also regular bottom watering. Basically, he took that. We knew that the 3 gallons worked, and I was, hoping we get more height with the same diameter. So
I'd love to
so
see him
he
make some
kept it
5-gallon
there.
talls. I wonder if I reach
5
out.
gallon would be cool. He is actually going to be making a bag for me to use with the XXL set. So I'm not sure what he's going to do yet. I sent him all the specs. So Luke's supposed to get me a double XL, at least one tray, whenever they get here, and he's gonna be working on a bag. I don't know if he's gonna do, like, right now his 8 gallon and I think his 12 gallon may fit, but he may come up with a bag for that specifically. And I think that's going to be the game changer for the organic fucking Autopot method, because
Yeah,
I
the
top
XLs.
dressed 3 times every 3
XXL.
weeks. XXL, yeah, the
Yeah,
big,
big
XX,
balls.
the XXXL.
yeah, it's like 9 and 12 or something, or
Yeah.
7 and 12.
13, right? 13.
Yeah, so like you can get through with it. I think with I would say, like, maybe I would still top dress at least once or twice just to be safe, but I bet you can almost do water only that whole way, or at least microbes
You
and stuff.
probably could. Now, have you been watching the Build a Soil videos?
Yes,
Jeremy.
yes.
He
Yeah, he
got the,
just
he
set
got
it up
the
yesterday.
XXLs. Yeah, I
No, he's
just
got the
watched his
XL.
latest video.
He's got just the XL.
Okay, so they're the 9-gallon
He's
ones.
got no. Does he? I thought it was the
think.
regular set he has.
Thought he
I thought
just
he
had the
has, like,
regular XLs.
Yeah, I
He's
think
got
it's
those
just his
same ones we
XLs.
got, Captain.
Yeah.
Same ones I really.
Yeah.
Then I'm getting confused.
I don't think the double
all right.
XLs are here yet.
So,
Like,
all right,
Europe
all
gets
right.
all that shit first,
my
and
mistake.
then we get it.
My mistake. But
It's
anyway,
confusing with the XL
yeah.
name,
I know it's like the XL or XXL. It should
Yeah.
just, man, should just be the Autopot super size. Maybe we could go there.
Yeah,
I mean, McDonald's ain't using that term anymore. So, I got a cat rooting around back here. I don't know.
Nice.
He may appear some, but
Yeah.
so man, where's my mind headed?
Big
Um,
Autobots.
we're talking. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the latest video I saw, real quick on the Build a Soil YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He had some troubles, man, with not the autopots, but like the auto flowers that he's been growing,
Oh,
like
dude, yeah. There's like
which
2 left.
yeah,
There's
which
only 2
I
left.
predicted, by the way. I just want to say I saw exactly what was going on. I left
Yeah.
him a comment
He
too.
knows what happened too, and you
Yeah, yeah.
probably are thinking the same
He
thing.
knows
Yeah.
now. He knows.
Yeah.
But like, so he transplanted all his autos from solo cups, like he does, his photos, and
Yeah.
like he waited. I would say like a week too long, man.
Yeah.
They were like way too big for autos
Yeah.
to be transplanted.
Yeah, they
out.
were like already got the signal sent. They're like, "This is it.
Yeah.
Let's do our thing. Let's go." Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, like he stunted the majority of them. If like there's probably gonna be like one or two that can like not be affected
That's what
by
he's
this.
got. Oh, it's so
But
sad to
like,
see,
yeah,
but at
that's
least
what
he
he's got
is
now, man.
saying that. So because he has a lot of, I'm sure, a lot of those old school people we were talking about earlier that are autoflowers suck, autoflower. He was sort of under that impression.
He was
He
under the
even
same
says it
impression
himself.
before he
Yeah.
tried it. So yeah,
So
like
he's
yeah.
doing really good job at taking blame and pointing out why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, so I
yeah,
think he's handling it well.
yeah, for
Yeah,
Honestly.
sure, for sure.
transparent.
Maybe he read
Yeah,
my
right.
comment, maybe
Yeah,
not,
right.
maybe not. I don't know. I just want to give myself the old pat on the back because
Yeah.
just if he had listened to old Captain Autoflower and
Yeah, right.
adopted
And you know
my
what? With that,
autoflower transplant method, maybe
so
he would
speaking
have
of that and honor bags, so I have a bunch of his 1/4 gallon honor bags, and they're solo cup size, and they still air prune. I've done a photo in a 1/4 gallon, and I went like 30 days, and it was fine. It was a photo, and then I transplanted like a 3 or something. But I'm wondering if you could have more flexibility, transplanting in those, if you can, extend it a couple days because it's not a solo cup that, you're getting root bound in.
You know
You know what I'm
something? That's
saying?
a fucking really great
a bigger
question.
bag,
Right?
right?
Well,
It's
it's the whole
it's a mini bag. It's the same bag, but it's
But
mini.
it's a like you
it's
mean like
able
a
to air
fabric.
prune.
It's
It
able to air
breathes and it air
Yeah,
prunes.
roots.
that's a
So I
that's
want to
a
test it out, but I have a small plant count, and it's
that's
like
interesting
I
actually.
don't
Yeah,
really want to
no,
fuck
it
around
is
with it.
very good thought. Because yeah, I mean, the theory is in the solo cup is that if you let the roots bottom out and
Yeah.
then start to spiral,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what's
like
going
that's
to
it. We're
stunt
done.
the
Oh,
auto.
that's
And like,
100%. Yeah, that's definitely gonna stunt them once they hit
Yeah.
Well,
that
you can
that tap.
stunt a photo in those too. You
Well, I
leave
mean,
a
I've
photo
kept
in there too
photos in
long.
solo cups for fucking a long time, man. As long as you keep them watered, they'll be good.
Like and just like I don't know. I mean, some people out there might be listening in on the first time. It's like there's a thing people say with autoflowers, like where it's the tap root that
Yep.
determines like when
Yeah.
the autoflower will
Well, that's
start
why they
to
say
flower.
the tall bags are good. I know the big green
That's
guy always talks
exactly.
about the tall bags.
Yep. That's some people will say only use those
It makes
extra
sense.
tall
I
bags
think it
because
makes sense.
they say it gives them like a couple extra days in veg.
Yeah.
It lets like the root travel further down, and that's like when the root hits the bottom of whatever container it's in, that's what kind of signals to the plant to like start to flower.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know
dude, and
how you
honestly,
can
some of
prove
them
that,
autos
but
get so crazy even without that little aid. So it's like, do they even need a couple more days? Some of them, it's like
yeah,
it's
right.
wild, dude. Watching them
Oh
grow. That's
man,
why, like, I did a
autos
whole
are
photo run, and I'm
nuts.
like, I miss my autos. I missed the excitement and the challenge of it. The fun of it, because
Oh
they're
man,
wild, dude. They go
It
from
happens.
this
It
to like
happens
this,
fast, man. Like
amen.
it happens real fast. The
yeah.
growth, especially like the daily growth when they're hitting that stretch, it's like holy shit. Like they'll grow.
You can see it every day
Yeah,
too.
yeah, they grow quick. Exactly. It's definitely something you can measure and quantify, even without like really even truly measuring it. You're like, yeah, I can tell
Yeah.
that thing. Yeah.
And photos, once they get past their 3rd week, they seem to move fairly quickly too. Like at least the ones that I've grown, they seem to.
Mhm.
Once you start noticing the buds, things progress pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. You have all these lulls in between with the photo, this like just chilling time with
Yeah,
it,
no, the life cycle of the auto is like condensed.
dude.
So you have like all these phases that are like crammed into, they're like crammed right next to each other, where you like
Yeah.
you don't know where the stretch, like what's pre-flower and what's
Dude, yeah.
flower, like
And
where.
speaking of, so the G3, do you use salts or what do you use?
I'm in organics right now, but I
You're in
have used
organics.
salts
Okay.
before. I actually
So-
used to run Athena.
Oh, okay, so then you could answer this. So I think this is like probably one of the hardest things with growing autos and using salts. When do you transition and how do you transition? And I've heard people skip veg. I've heard people that don't even use the veg program or whatever. They just do bloom all the way through. The way I did it is I would right when I would see pistils or something, I would start the transitional weeks. Like my nutrients had 2 weeks where it was bloom and veg. So and then you try to hope that by that third week where it's on all bloom that you don't need as much nitrogen and that it's like this hard thing you gotta like sort of balance and find, sort of lock in.
Yeah. I mean,
So when did you decide to use
I kind of let
switch?
them tell. I mean, this is gonna sound really crazy. I let them tell me.
Like I was sleeping and
That's the answer I totally expected.
but when you say that, you mean like you seen pistols like I did, and then you're like, okay, now they whispered
I
in my
kind
ear,
of-
look at my pistols.
It was.
She
It
like
was a.
went in on
a
a new moon. She lit a couple candles.
Put on some lovely like
Oh, yeah.
528 hertz frequency playlist.
Nice.
And I sat there and I said, "Ladies, what would you like?" And they tell me. But
That's-
honestly, it's a
cool.
combination of I don't go straight to bloom. I definitely give them like grow newts in the beginning.
As they're like visibly flowering, you're seeing that.
I would say for like the first yes, well they're in pre-flower. I still kind of I go more towards the grow stuff than bloom.
Yeah.
But yeah, once they're like fully flowered and that you can look at them and be like, that's a flower. She's
Yeah.
fully flowered. Then I go
Yes.
into bloom.
See, I've had where I've missed it by a little bit, where like I start getting like a phosphorus or something deficiency. So like if I notice that and I'm like 1 week into that 2 week transition, I'll just jump right to the third week and leave out the grow stuff. So it's like some of them I hit right, and some of them sometimes they're going to want more nitrogen when you're already in the bloom, and sometimes they're not going to have enough because you're still in the grow. And yeah, it's definitely definitely where autos are not easier. With photos, you're like, okay, I changed the lights. I'm changing the nutrients.
My
know.
program now. I hear that. And now
I don't think it has to be that complicated. I mean, the way I used to do it was just 3 weeks in, switch to bloom newts every time.
That's a way to do it too. I do keep an eye on the actual timeline too. And when I get 20-ish days, 25 days to start.
I would just try to make it simple that way, because
Yeah.
the at the end of the day too, right? If you overthink things, I think you can fall into that trap of being like a helicopter parent over your plant.
Yeah. I think
if
that's
you
how we
just-
all are in the beginning, and I'm sure everybody has lessened as they go. Autopots helped a lot.
I mean, look, even at the end of the day, we're talking, NPK and trace minerals, right? But your meat and potatoes is your NPK, and they're still going to get a little bit of everything, even with the grow or bloom. Once you're fully into bloom, or obviously if you're into veg. I have actually heard of a lot of people just going right into bloom with autoflowers, and I've seen great results with that too.
I've heard that too. Like the whole reason for an autoflowers being is to
It's
like
a flowering
start to flower right away. So like why not feed it flower food from the
Give them
very
what they
beginning?
need.
Yeah, because you're at the end of the day, people overthink the nitrogen thing too. So you are going to get a little bit of nitrogen in the bloom mixture. So it makes sense. It's
Yeah.
something I'd like to maybe fuck around with and find out.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
That's
like
the
with
best way to do
org-
stuff, dude, is just do it and see, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
try it.
like, what's
You
that?
have a
What's that?
question?
Really always see like, hey, like you can just do stuff.
Let me just try
You know,
it.
it's like you can just go out and do
Do it.
stuff. Like
Whoa.
no one's stopping you or anything. It's like it's pretty cool. But I love that one. Now I find with organics and the autoflowers, like you're probably gonna want to start your bloom newts a week earlier than
Yeah, I haven't done
when you're
anything where I'm
using,
changing
like,
anything with my
salts.
organics. The only
I
thing
like
that I did that would be different would be that what is it? Build a flower top dress? Is that what it's called? Build a bloom or build a flower? It's a top dress.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's like sticks and shit. It's sort of weird, but it's like take handfuls and throw it on there. You know,
Yeah,
right before bloom.
I love his directions.
It's
It,
like okay,
it really
cool.
it speaks to me as an organic grower. Just
Right.
like I don't want like
Like
specific
a little bit of this, a little
amounts.
bit of that. You know?
It's like, yeah, take a handful, throw it on
Yeah.
top, see what happens. Your plants are gonna love it.
But honestly, like that's what because when I first started, I started with Sohum my first run, and then M3 my second run, and I had Nature's Living Soil the top dress, but I didn't know I had to do it more often than like one time, and I just sort of like had a bad taste for organics after that. So I had a really good experience before I bought Craft Blend with this stuff called soil charge packs. It's actually what I bought to amend a whole bunch of reused soil when I realized I was going to go to cocoa and salts. I didn't know the results yet, and I had to have some soil cooking already, so I bought it, I had soil going, and then I seen the results and I sort of left that soil and went to cocoa. But I used that soil charge packs and I just literally top dressed every 3 weeks. It was a 7-gallon bag, top watering. Every 3 weeks I put a half tablespoon per gallon. So it was like 3.5 every 3 weeks. And it was
Half tablespoon
amazing.
per gallon.
No issues.
All right,
Like,
wait.
it was,
So how many milliliters per?
well, no, this was just the
liter.
powder. It's a powder.
No.
Yeah, but it
I'm
was
just trying to.
just
I'm just being an asshole trying to
Yeah.
convert to the metric system.
yeah,
But,
right. I
no,
remember
fuck
that,
the
yeah.
metric system. We all know. But dude, all right. So I love I personally love how you just kind of experiment with all styles. It seems like you're just a grower, man. Like you're interested in autos, you're interested in photos, you're interested in growing salts or organically. You're interested in following the program. You're interested in not following the program. It's just like you're a
And we all just get along, right?
you're a
I like
well-rounded,
everybody.
like, and again, like I love it. That's a great mentality to have. And I could, and I would love to, if we were just unlimited on time restraints, just go on with you about your grow style and stuff. But I
Oh shit!
think,
How long are we in? We pretty far in, huh?
dude,
90
believe
minutes.
it or not, yeah, man,
Oh,
we're at
shit.
an hour and a half now.
Sorry,
And
guys.
I
If we don't talk about your photography,
yeah, I
seriously,
do.
Okay,
people are
I-
gonna kill
that's-
us.
I want
They're
to
gonna
give
murder
the
us.
people what they want, my friend. I want we
It's
have
wild,
to.
dude.
They will riot.
Minutes.
They will riot. I tell you.
We will have a
And
full
with
mutiny.
pitchforks and
Cap will have to walk the plank. It will be bad.
Like,
All right.
sorry, time.
yeah, man.
Sorry.
You're just like I love looking at your page because like you really do take some of the best bud pictures, flower pictures. I mean, they're all beautiful, and I want you
Appreciate
to.
that, man.
What kind of tips do you have for all the tent pirates out there?
First of all, can
Yeah.
you tell us what gear you run?
See,
You
that's-
guys are gonna be blown away by this.
Yeah, that's what I love when people ask that. Like, it's my favorite because, like, every picture on my page has been with an iPhone.
Yes,
like
I was hoping you were going
Yeah.
to say that. I love it. I love it.
every
That-
photo. Yeah,
Please, now
You're
you need.
kidding me.
yeah, no,
need-
and I have a big camera. I have like a DSLR, but that requires me like getting it out and shooting it, and then bringing it to my computer,
That's right.
and
That's
then
right.
bringing it and editing it, and then bringing it back to my phone when I can figure it out on my phone.
Dude,
And
ain't
I
nobody
have
got
a
time for that.
database here. No, dude, no joke. Because I wanted to like do quality and quantity. not super quantity, but
yeah.
I post almost three posts a day. That's a lot to keep up with. So like the time was the big thing for me, but lighting, if you give these phones, any new phone will get good stuff if you can use a manual app. I know Androids probably allow you to do manual in their stock app, but iPhones don't even bother with their manual. You can use like Lightroom or this app I use called Halide, and there's a whole bunch of them. As long as you can
Spell
set the
that out
white
for the
balance.
people.
Well, hey, what was that again?
Could you spell that out for the
Like
people?
metal
Yeah,
halide, like
like basically
HILIDE.
Halide, HALID is what I
All right.
use. And then there's like I said, Lightroom is what I use to edit, or I like to say correct, because some
Did you
people
hear
ask
that?
what's the
That was
effect.
the people collectively scribbling down.
And Lightroom is awesome and it's free, and you will already have it to edit or correct
Like
images. But
on your phone, dude? Is
yeah,
that on your
Lightroom on
phone?
your
Yeah.
phone, and there is the free version gives you just everything that you need, like setting presets. Like I have presets for when I do like a shoot on the black background. I have like black back 2 or whatever, and so now I can just quickly throw a preset on every one of my photos.
Word. That's
Dude,
cool,
it's
man.
time savings,
Made
but
it
all it's
real
done is
easy.
made me shoot more instead of saving time.
Dude, so
I
you
just now
do it
fill my
all on
phone
your
up more.
phone
Yeah.
from taking the pictures to like the post processing.
Yeah,
Like,
so I have a big light,
that's awesome. I love
lighting,
it.
and lock down the exposure. And if you turn the exposure down and you blast the light on them, like you need a pretty powerful light to get it to work good. Um,
Like
and
a ring light,
I have
like
a I have an
selfie light.
I have an 18-inch ring light, and I can send anybody a link to the one I use.
Okay.
I actually just bought a second one because once you search for Newer, Neewer, on any social media, and you'll probably get an ad that'll tell you $45 or $55 for this ring light. It's a cheap Chinese 18-inch ring light, but it blasts more light than like any other light I have. Like I have other lights, and that one is just
Yeah.
badass. And it's
Dude, you think you
like
could,
$100 or $50 or whatever,
think
depending on where
could
you get
use
it.
one of those for like a little seedling light if you had to in a pinch?
Well, you want is funny? They are. You want to know? It basically is our quantum board or our strip lighting in a circle. It's the same
That's
diode.
what I mean, I wonder
Yeah,
if the spectrum is
you
like
could.
kind of similar,
So
and it's
that
like
actually, I'm so
It's like
glad you
100-watt
said that.
light in a
That was
circle,
my next question is like,
I
what
could
would
use a
stop
grow
me from
light
using
too.
like an HLG 100 or
Nothing.
something like that?
And I actually, that's a plan of mine too. I have a 100-watt light that is I got to get it out. It's like one of those things where it's like I have what works in front of me, so
Mm.
I would have to make that happen. But I do plan on trying that. But there's this dude, Therapy Grows. You guys know who he is?
No.
Therapy
Yeah.
Grows.
Oh.
He's a really cool dude, and he was taking pictures with his Grower's Choice fucking foldable light that he wasn't using. So I was like, dude, that's a dope picture. What'd you use for lighting? And he showed me a backed out shot, and it was like the foldable bar light was, like on an angle.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
done
Dude,
that.
so use your grow lights, dude. Seriously,
Yeah,
as
it
long as you
posts
can
strings
lock,
up real high.
dude.
like
Yeah, it was so cool.
and I'm not a photographer, guys, but like from what little I do know about the craft, as any photographer would probably tell you when you ask them, like, how do you get your pictures to look so, it's like the first thing they're going to talk to you about is lighting.
It's the same thing as our plants, dude. Give them light, they'll be good. Same thing.
Photography. It's like it's in the prefix of the fucking word, guys. Like you're capturing light. So like,
yeah, literally.
that's a very, like you went right there. You're like, all right, well, you got to, when you want to take good pictures, you got to get good lighting.
That's key. Yeah, it's so
Right
key.
now.
Like when I started my page, it was just because I wanted to have an anonymous place instead of Facebook groups with my name on it. Even though it's legal here, whatever. You never know, people suck. So I just started it for that, and I started taking pictures. I'd put up tapestries outside my tent and hanging them on the dresser that's there, and use the light coming from the tent, and just getting shots like that way, just as I'm watering every day. And the nutrients that I was using, Dakeen 420, they ended up using one of them in a calendar. And this was, I wasn't really trying. Like, I'm done video for a while, like videographer, editor, whatever. So like
Wait, I'm sorry. The black backgrounds, like you said, they
the
were
black background is stuff I'm doing now. Before I started,
okay.
like getting like with a light, and I was using the light coming out of my tent around the corner with a tapestry, and just sort of just using what I could get. And they picked it up for their calendar. So I was like,
Nice.
huh, if I cannot try and they're going to use this, like, why the hell, like, let me try a little bit more, So
Yeah.
then I got a light, and I actually had lights, and I started using the lights that I had, and just sort of
Right.
figuring out the style that I liked. And the black is where I really gravitated towards. I used to do a lot more with the colors, and like as you see the Spaceman, I have endless like fabrics and like tapestries and backgrounds to use.
Background is
Mhm.
key, man. I think
Dude, yeah, I find this
like
stuff
your
gets lost in it,
signature look.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it sort of
But
turned into
so
that. Yeah.
so how much like processing are you putting on the
No,
images?
little,
What
little. So
kind of
basically, if you
things do
light
you
it
do to them?
properly, if you set your colors right or close enough to where you can correct them, set the exposure. That's going to be your key in camera is the exposure and focus, which is obviously going to be
Exposure.
big
All right.
regardless. But if you
Yep.
set your exposure right to where the plant is super bright but not too bright, and the black is not lit that much. If the black is too lit, it will you'll distort the plant as you try to pull the blacks down. So
So are you
basically the only processing I do, I pull it into Lightroom, and I have a preset that will pull the shadows down, which will darken the black, contrast up a little bit, which will darken the black and the shadows in the plant. And then I pull it's a black, just pull the blacks down. And I have different levels, because sometimes I shoot a little bit brighter. So I have like black light preset, black preset, black 2 preset.
nice.
So then I flip it on and see which one works the best, and then that gives me a rough estimate. But yeah, it's literally pulling the blacks and the shadows down, up in the contrast a tiny bit, and giving it a little bit of saturation boost. But you could go overboard with that, so you got to be
Yeah, yeah. I
careful.
was gonna say like
Yeah,
that is one of the
you can be
things I
careful.
appreciate about your images, dude, is that like they do look natural, like color
Yeah,
wise.
that's
I'm
key.
not I'm
Yeah.
not looking at them and ever thinking to myself like, oh man, he just fucking like ran that shit through
But you know
Photoshop
what?
and
I've
like
had so many
boosted the
people message
saturation. It's
me
like,
what effect I'm using, or like what effect did you do for that? I'm like, well, here I tell everybody how to do it. It's pretty cool. I've seen a lot of people that I've given like little bits of advice to, and like seeing some of the shit they're doing, it's like, wow, fucking
right
killing
on.
it.
All right. So dude, do you have like a tripod? Do you
Well,
have
most of the time I'm handheld. I do
handheld?
use
Word.
tripods for like video. I would use a tripod probably. Or I
Just
should use a tripod for macro shots, but I'm
just hold your
usually in a
breath
hurry.
and like you got
Oh,
a steady
dude,
hand.
if there was like a camera, like if I ever do show my face and I do like do a YouTube like I should be doing, and I have like a camera above me, it'll probably look really silly, like because just like and that's another thing I like the phone over the SLR is because I hold the light in one hand and I hold the phone in the other hand, and you got to sort of get into like these weird spots, and that's what I think is cool. I can maneuver the angles of light
Gotcha.
so
So
much
your
easier.
light is like it's almost like a
I'm totally
handheld thing.
portable. Yeah, I have a light on a
Nice.
stand too, but a lot of the times I will get in there and I can move it around, and so I can sort of see the changes
Yeah,
in
that's
real time. And
for sure.
yeah, and
I
then you
love
start
that.
learning like as you process them. That's a good word.
Oh,
You
for
said
shoot. Like
as you process them, you know what they look like as you shoot it. So you start like wasting less time, because I used to like shoot like for an hour or 2 hours, and then none of the photos will black out right, and I'm not going to post that, like unless it's like,
it's
hey,
not
look, don't do
brand.
that.
It's not
Yeah,
on
it'll
brand.
fuck up the whole image.
I hear you, man. I love that you're not using like high tech expensive equipment. You
Yeah, it's
accessible stuff
attainable
that
by
anyone
anybody,
can do.
really.
That's what I
Um,
think. I love to help people do it. Anybody reach out
yeah,
for real.
it doesn't
Love
take
to
a
help.
lot of it's kind of like
Everybody has it.
I mean,
Like I've seen some dude on their iPad like doing it. Like similar shit I was doing. Light,
right?
give it light, And like you give these cameras light on these phones, and people can't tell that they're a phone. You take away the light, and you could be like, "Ooh, that looks like shit."
Yeah, lighting is key. No,
Oh,
no,
sure.
In photography and in growing, the answer is light.
No,
the answer is always
it ain't
light.
growing. It's not gonna
Amen.
live it without.
Amen. Hey, if you're good at lighting plants, you might just be good at taking
Right?
pictures of plants using light.
Hell yeah.
I mean, no, for real though, like I don't have any equipment. Okay, like I do not post process my images at all either.
You
and
take
I
nice
find-
photos though, dude, man. You definitely take really nice photos.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Well,
And-
you
and I-
understand the focus. Like a lot of people don't like, and I don't like really critique just people just posting photos, because that's most people doing it. But you can see the people that pay attention to where the focus is, and and making sure it's exposed right and the colors right. But yeah, your photos is really nice, dude.
well, I appreciate that, dude. Now,
Now,
and
you
I
take good photos too, G3. And Monster,
agree,
you usually
know.
post like big wide shots, right?
Yeah,
My
like,
photos,
I'm usually like, what
dude,
the hell's he
never a
doing?
good.
when-
I'm
well,
never.
not they're
yeah.
not good, but like you can't really compare like the bud shots to like
Yeah.
I'm picturing your page and I'm seeing like big plants and shit and
Yeah.
big rooms and shit.
Dude,
It's
Monster's
awesome.
about the
I
like
wish I
the
had a big room of plants. Shit.
process, man. He shows the work, not
Yep,
the
exactly,
bloodshot.
which is awesome. It's
You
cool
know.
that we can see that shit, dude.
Um,
How cool
now,
is this?
like you said, though, I find that I get the best results. Okay, like with no added equipment, just me, an iPhone, and my plants. Okay, like that's it's never been anything
Like,
more
one of
than
my
that.
plants, that's gonna
Any
be like a
of,
movie.
any of my content. Okay, it's always just like literally me holding my phone up with my plants, and the best results. You have an open tent with like a specific background. I don't know if you remember my old page, but I had that blue like wall,
Yeah.
the bright sky blue wall that it just like had this weird contrast with like the green or purple or whatever color buds you had against this blue background. And that's a nice like consistent color to take like, and then use the light coming from like behind you. Then the open tent is behind you and the light like above right here, like shining down brightly on this plant that's then in front of you right here. And you're like, you got your camera, and the trick then is to like maneuver your head and then the phone so you're not like creating a shadow on top of the plant.
Yeah,
at
right.
least that's for me. But like if I had a handheld little light, that would solve the problem.
Yeah. Well,
So-
at that point, you'd be able to even go to a more convenient place, and like because my background is a what do you call it? Like a rolling wardrobe thing, like you put like your clothes on, it's got wheels on it, like from like Aldi or some shit. Just like a thing like you hang clothes on.
Word. Nice.
Yeah, and I got
nice.
a black sheet over that. I've
That's
looked into like the backdrop things, but those take up more space than what I'm using. I'm able just to pick that up and move it around and put it off, because I'm in a cramped space down here, so it gets really cramped. But I'm able to like move it and keep it still sort of set up, which I wouldn't be able to do with more professional equipment.
Hell
I don't
yeah,
think you
man.
need more professional
No.
equipment, man. Look what you're
Yeah,
doing.
well,
that's
With,
the coolest
a
part about it,
sheet
man. Is,
Thank
and
you.
a phone and a
yeah, like
Yeah,
light.
I
nothing
think
crazy
that's-
at all here. Anybody could do this.
Yeah,
for sure.
made
Like
good,
that's
for sure.
that's what makes it punk rock, dude. For sure.
Oh,
like
killer.
that's what makes it punk rock, is that like you're not a pro, but man, it's like you
Yeah.
could have fucking fooled me.
Man, we are all really not living up to our abilities here, people.
I'm telling you guys, light. You add light, and you will be like, holy cow. Yeah, if you have an old grow light, dude, bust it out. Seriously. I've thought of ways like, should I mount it on like a stick or something? Like the 100-watt board. It would probably be.
I'm thinking,
badass
right?
light,
Like
yeah.
my mind is already wandering, right? Like so,
Yeah.
like you could like set up a jig for the
Oh, just have it
But
set already.
have
where you
it
would
like
use
set
it.
like on it at like a 45-degree angle.
That
so
would be
it's like,
perfect, dude.
Yeah,
For real.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at your shit right now. I'm looking at your page. Now, do you do a lot of macro shots too?
Some, I like to do more, but I'm so picky, and I don't do any of the like you see the super good macro shots out there, you know, like who the fuck?
Like Evan Nug
Surface,
shots or
surface.
whatever.
Oh, the
Like
Nug shot, dude. Yeah, Eric Nug. Like
Eric
he's like
Nug
OG
shots.
on
That's
that
right.
shit,
Yeah,
dude.
dude,
Surface
insane,
area.
insane.
Yeah. This
Now,
dude
no,
Doc
but
has some cool ones, but what they're doing is they're taking a whole like surface area 99 or whatever. He takes like thousands and
yeah,
thousands of
yeah.
photos to make one image. Like, so I'm using a macro lens on my phone, and I'm
Okay.
just trying to get as you're limited in having an amount in focus, you know. So it's like I take
Now
50
it's you
times the
said
amount of
a
those that you guys
macro
take,
lens on
at
your
least.
phone. Do you have a
It's
post?
just
You
it's
have
like a little $40 lens that sits on the end of it. If you
all right,
search
word.
like macro lens iPhone, it's like the first one that pops up. It's like it's not a cheap one, and it's not the $100 one. So I was like, let me,
A
you
little
know,
clip-on
yeah, it's
macro
a clip
lens.
on, and it's
All right.
got like a wide that makes it a little bit wider, whatever lens you got it on, and you take off that, and it's a macro. And it the thing of the macro lens is it allows you to get like right up there, you know. Like with the
So
iPhone, you're limited to like I don't know, probably like a foot, you
yeah,
know, where your focus is.
what kind of an iPhone do you have?
Right now, I get the 13 Pro.
Okay.
I had the 11 Pro up until last year. I've had it about a year, so it was.
I
They're
think like the
they're
one
all
like
gonna be just
doesn't
as good.
the 13 have a macro camera
Yes,
on it
yeah,
now or
yeah,
like
and that's a cool. I do some shots with just that lens too.
okay. But you
It's just
find
hard.
an additional lens will do better.
Yeah, I'll throw the macro lens on. There's 3 lenses on the 13 Pro. There's the macro, the regular, and the telephoto. I experiment with all 3 of them actually. Um, they all do different effects. You know, like the close one is going to get a lot closer and be more specific, and then the normal one is the one I use the most. But if you put it on the wide, it gives you the fish angle, and there you can see the circle on it. So you actually have to like crop it to a square because you'll be able to see the lens on it because the iPhone lens is so wide already. But the problem with all that stuff is the most difficult part of it is lighting it. If you have like less than an inch in between the lens and what you're shooting, you got to get light to go in there and angle where you want. And it's sort of difficult sometimes, like with that, especially with that lens on there. I'll have to hold a light, like I got little strips that I'll hold right on the macro lens, just trying to like wiggle some light in there and shit. You know, it's almost like shooting darts with those. You know, I like take like a whole bunch of shots, and I may end up with a couple ones that I like that I'll post.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I mean that right there. You know, you're just kind of like that for me at least is really how you take good pictures. You take a lot of
Take a
pictures
lot, dude.
and then
Fuck
you
yeah.
pick from
Fuck yeah.
100 bad ones. You can find 2 really
You got
good
2
ones.
awesome ones, right? You know what? And that's my problem in life with the family. When we go somewhere or have a party, I have anxiety having to pick photos out to share so the family can see them. You know, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to choose 30 good ones out of the 400 that I took over the weekend? You know, so it's like, yeah,
That's
no,
so
that's the
funny,
hardest
man.
part
No,
is picking out, you know?
yeah,
You
and
good at
sometimes
Are you good at deleting the bad ones?
No,
Or do you
they're,
just
dude,
keep them? You have
I
like your
have them.
entire iCloud, your cloud is like full of plant
My cloud
pictures
is
that
turned
didn't
off.
quite make it.
Yeah, I use the Google one because Google allows you to put up lesser quality for more space. I don't Apple like $40 a month if I had to put
so
all my stuff up in full res on
there
their servers.
because you know I'm prohibition land, and like when I started doing this,
Oh, you don't want your shit
when
going
I
up there.
started like the journey of like even taking pictures of my plants with my iPhone freaks me the fuck out, right? Because like you got like
Those, yeah,
first,
it locks
first you
in
gotta
data and shit.
yeah, it's all data. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
listen, if someone were to like, I'm not even going to get into it. There's reasons I could be paranoid, but I choose not to be. The iPhone is just like, you know, your identity, your fingerprints all over that shit, man. You got to make sure you turn your location data off. Okay, that's one the key thing you can do as as a prohibition lander.
Do you do that in general on the whole phone or on the
Yeah,
photos?
yeah, dude. I mean, in general, like I don't.
Yeah.
It's no location data
Yeah.
embedded into the
Sure.
images. You know, I don't like again. Yeah, I don't upload to iCloud. I don't do any of that. Like it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no good about deleting the images. I don't use either. But like, I can tell you this. Like, if I did have to like, I don't know, go into like get a new phone and they do that transfer process, you know what I mean? Where they
Always
like
do it yourself.
they plug your phone in. But yeah, or you could do it yourself, or I mean, I would delete all my pictures before
Yeah.
that process, you know, or take
Yeah, I
them
would do
off
that
the
anyway.
phone,
Yeah, for
store
sure.
them somewhere else in the meantime. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm overly paranoid, but like
I don't know. It
you have
doesn't
to
seem
be a
like it's
little
that hard
careful.
to avoid doing. So, if it's possible to help, why not?
Hey, you know, rule number one, guys, don't get caught.
Don't get
Yeah,
caught.
exactly.
Rule number one. But no, dude, like it's amazing to me. Like honestly, so how do you do these like from above shots?
Yeah, those are my favorite, dude. And those are really pain in my ass too, because having the focus on the phone, I have to get the exposure with one hand first and holding the. It's like I said, if there was a camera watching me, it would be really fucking
I
crazy
would
looking.
love to
Like
see that,
I'm standing
honestly.
on a
'Cause that is
stool
that
with
is
the
like
ring
We
listen,
light.
need
everything is
that.
content, my
Yeah,
friend.
right. I know,
Everything is
right? Yeah.
content. I want to
Seriously,
see
dude.
that shit.
It
All
would
right?
be goofy, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna fall one day. I'm gonna fucking. I've lost a limb or two to dropping the light, dude. Not like dropping it from above shot, but in my other maneuvers. But yeah, dude. Like I literally hold that over the plan as I'm standing at a stool with my phone, trying to focus. Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
yeah. I
Do
worked
you
for those
have
shots,
a
dude.
do you have a black background underneath
Well, I
then?
just have the sheet
No?
comes out far enough. I use a long enough black sheet that
Okay.
comes out long enough. Yeah,
And then
that was
it'll
one of my
go
favorite
under
things
too.
I
It
started
goes
doing.
under and then around back too.
Yeah, it just
Right?
sort of comes around, and as long
All
as
right.
I have it close enough, when they get really big, it gets hard to keep them all in, and sometimes you can sneak corners or not super clean, or I can go in there and black out the corners with like a marker or something, markup or whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, like putting the sheet underneath is as long as the plant's a reasonable size, I can get it to be fully, at least in a square crop. Once they get big, I may not be able to have a full wide shot of it because you'll see the desk and the tent on the other side. But yeah, just got to get it at least inside of a square. So, but
That's
yeah,
what's
they're
up,
fun
man.
and they're definitely
Ah,
challenging.
wait, real quick. But I just saw Norma in the chat. I want to say what's up to you real
What
quick.
up, Norma?
Norma G, I see you
Norma
out
G.
there. You
He.
say it's
Oh yeah,
3:26 a.m. where you are. She must be in the.
It's a he.
it's a he.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Wait,
I
it's
apologize.
3:26
It's a
a.m.
he.
Where
Really?
is he?
Dude, I mean, I just assumed
Really?
because
Wow.
Norma,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
like, I gotta,
confusing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
apologize.
always thought
That's
so
me,
too.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
I foolishly assumed. You know what they say about that. But shout out to you for being awake
Dude,
and
Norma G
hanging with
is like
us.
on top of like supporting, dude. That dude,
The
I
guy with the
see
girl's
his
name
So
says,
comments on
great.
people's things that
dude.
out of
All
everywhere.
right, you ever hear the Johnny Cash song, "Boy Named Sue"?
Boy named Sue.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Gotta listen to that one if you haven't. It's a good one. But hey, dude, rock on. I appreciate you
Okay.
being here.
Hell yeah,
Appreciate you
man.
being here, man.
Appreciate you guys having me, dude.
Well, I
Hope
was
I didn't
talking to
ramble too
Norma.
much.
No, you too, man. You too. No, we this was honestly no, like you've been a person, like I said, I've been following from the very beginning. You're like one of the dude, when you first get into the scene, you're one of the first people that'll pop up for most people, I imagine.
That's awesome.
Just, you gotta for like whether you want that or not, that's what it is for
No, I want as many people to see as
yeah,
possible.
yeah.
For sure.
You have a really nice, like cool vibe. Like I said, you kind of try everything that comes your way, and you can talk about what's good and what's not so good, and you just got a cool vibe, man. And
Yeah, man.
yeah, thank you for being a listener.
Fuck
Thank you
yeah.
for
Thank
being
you
a
guys,
guest
dude.
now.
You know
Shit.
how many lawns I've mowed to you guys? No joke. You guys are my lawn mowing shit. Like you
Yeah.
guys are a long enough episode. Like no joke. I've mowed many lawns listening to your show. Like so, a lot of this stuff I may have missed. You know, like fucking zoned
That's
into
what's up,
mowing
dude.
the lawn. But yeah, you guys
Uh,
with the longer format, it fits my yard work day. You know, I have the Bluetooth headphones
hey.
on, and so
You
thank you
do
for
tend
that.
to ramble.
You know,
Oh,
well,
we
I guess
can
it worked for
little,
me to
little
come on then.
bit, little bit. We can be a little rambly. That is for sure.
I think
But
people like the long format though. I like short, but I also like the longer format. I think it's cool because
Something
not
for
everybody does over an
everybody.
hour. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can pop in a little bit, catch it in
yeah,
three doses if you want, or watch it all at once.
we kind of
Right.
like I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a weird like we're all over the place because
I think you've gotten longer the last I don't know 6 months or so.
we have,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
believe it or
yeah.
not.
Recklessly out of control.
Recklessly.
I know we need to keep
It
it a
is
little
being
shorter.
reined
To be
in.
honest, I know.
Uh oh.
That's what if you haven't noticed, that's what I'm trying to do by
What time are we at right now, dude?
haven't noticed.
We are at
We
2
are at
hours.
2 hours now. Yeah,
We
yeah.
are at 2 hours.
So like that is exactly why
Yeah, let's
at
get
this
there.
point I am bringing up our Patreon page because I'd like to thank a couple new people, and I'd also like to tell you guys that I have all of your Alabrije beans. They're sorted, they're packaged, they look beautiful. I have your addresses. Don't worry if I haven't responded to you on Patreon or Discord. That is just my own laziness and lack of I don't know. Dude, I'm a stoner. Like, what the fuck you want from me? Okay, like I get way too high. I fall asleep on the couch. I'm sorry, guys, but I assure you this that I will have all of your beans in the mail. Once, what are we doing? We're getting more beans.
I got a little surprise we're adding to this package,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna get them out to you guys.
We're gonna get them. Like
for the extra weight, we appreciate you. And
yeah.
before there was so there's gonna be some of you though that aren't all gonna get the same package just because of the growth of the Patreons happened a little too quick, and actually just this one time, so you can't jump on the bandwagon now. Even the $5 Patreon members are getting some beans. So
Word.
yeah, we appreciate
man.
all
That's
your
what's up.
support and patience with us growing. And yeah, couldn't do the show without you. We
you
really
guys-
appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome, truly. Like makes me feel just so fuzzy. You have no idea. But
Well, that's
so
because you haven't showered.
because I got a little like what's it called, the that little white mycelium growing on me, like yeah. Oh, it's funny. I've been inoculated with the good shit. No, but the other problem is, like Monsta mentioned it, the Patreon's been growing more than expected, to be honest, and I only have 50 packs of the Alabrije beans. That means there's a couple of you guys who are like, the latest ones past 50. Like, we're just gonna do it like the first 50 guys. That's the only fair way to do it.
Mhm.
The others, we're gonna get you guys the non-Alabrije beans, but
Non-Alabrije
jeans. But we have Outcast coming up. We have, I imagine Alabrije, hey, he'll probably send more at some point. But I don't want to. I have no idea if they will, but I hope so, because shit. This is it's a great thing. That's like, we got to just take care of it. I promise you guys it'll all happen. Don't worry. In the meantime, let me think. I don't want to give away identities, but I will just say David. Thank you very much, David. He is from Scotland.
Nice.
Ooh.
He is from Scotland, and one of the personally, one of my earliest friends on Instagram. Okay, like before I was Captain Autoflower, before anyone gave a single fuck about who I was. He was, in my DMs, like talking to me. He's a good buddy of mine, and to have him as our newest Patreon is really, truly like an honor. It is. So thank you, David. I also want to thank Howling Buds. Thank you, Howling Buds. Maybe I could.
You know, something funny. I just found out that dude lived in the same town that I grew up in, like the other day. What up, Howling Buds? No joke. He grew up in the town I grew up in. He lives by me.
No shit. That's a small world, man.
Small world, man. Yeah, I just found that out like yesterday.
That's really cool. Well, you guys should like.
Funny he popped up.
Exchange some
I'm sure we will at some point, right?
I want to see some write ups in the Discord Smoke Report channel. Okay. We gotta get more smoke reports, guys. Simply put, we get a lot of grow reports. We get a lot of, a lot of the growers love to talk about their growing, but I want to see more people talking about, like, even if you're not a good person, like you don't know flavors or terps, whatever.
I was gonna say we don't write like the captain does. Captain's got a way of writing it out.
I don't care. I don't care. Just use your imagination, like whatever it reminds you of. Whatever it like makes you feel. I don't like just get in touch with it, man.
Get in touch with yourself.
You don't even have to like describe the terp so much, or you could just be really general, like this.
It was good,
bright, or this is like not so bright.
Yeah. How did it make you feel?
How did it make you feel? That's what I want mostly. Is what kind of effects do you get from it? I can infer a lot, believe it or not, about the terp profile, based on what you might say the effects are. So, all right, I want to keep going here. There's Zach. I want to say thank you. A big cultivation conversation shout out to Zach. Yay. Stepping up to the plate, supporting us. Shoot, what day is it today? Did we already say a thank you to Todd?
I'm not sure. We're gonna start writing this shit down.
Who knows, man?
Like, double thanks to Todd if we already have.
Thanks to Todd. We want to give all you guys credit where credit's due. Now
we're gonna start at the beginning.
I think that's it. I know. We really should, but dude, it would take so fucking long at this point. You guys are like, honestly, it's unbelievably amazing to me that we have this much support, and like it's truly unbelievable. So yeah,
well deserved, guys. For real, congrats. That's freaking badass. That is badass.
Thanks.
So why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? I mean, I'm sure most people can gather from the name, but
yeah, mostly the Spaceman Grown on Instagram, and then the backup has a underscore. There is a YouTube page under that, and there will be content up there eventually. So if you want to subscribe to that now, cool. Twitter, which I don't really update, same Spaceman Grown. I have the channel ready. I just haven't put anything up yet.
Nice.
I'm so picky. I'm so picky with video, man, and it's like the time it would take to make something that I would be happy with is like that's why I focused on the photos, which is funny because my background's in video,
No, you just gotta accept. You gotta just come to terms with like potato quality video. That's just it's too much. It's too much for a simple tent pirate to be a cinematographer as well as a photographer. I mean, Jesus, it's too much to ask. Too much.
Oh man.
No,
it will happen. No, there will be some content up there. Yeah, for sure.
You said Twitter too?
Yeah, I have a Twitter. I haven't really even opened it in, I don't even know. Just like Vero, I haven't opened. And however, I got a Reddit. I post in the Night Owl Reddit when I'm throwing Night Owl, and I'll be posting these in the Night Owl Reddit. Spaceman Grown everywhere. If you go somewhere and you want to see if I'm there, Spaceman Grown.
Nice. Now one of these.
And there is a guy on Instagram, Spaceman Grow, that pops up before I do, of course. That has been there like a year or two.
That's not
after me. No, and he sells he's like one of those fucking what do you call them? Those raffle seller dudes or whatever. So I've had people like hit me up, being like, this dude's impersonating you or whatever, and I'm like, I can't really do shit. It's Spaceman Grow,
God,
you know.
yeah,
But
I
yeah, it
see
pops
him
up
right now.
before my yep.
I see him
Yeah.
right now. Space Ghost.
You get 2 of them. Yeah,
Oh,
it says Space
dude.
Ghost underneath. So it's
Dude,
like, why do you
what?
got to have Spaceman Grow there? It's confusing. But I can't. He's not nothing like I am. So yeah, I think like I don't even know if it's
Okay.
active or he does stuff. But he would, like I
Interesting.
said, one of those seller dudes, those raffle people.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I
think we
mean,
need.
my logo is the same everywhere too. You'll see the orange and purple logo.
All right. Or yeah, the orange and purple. That's a pretty
It
distinct
sticks
one,
out,
man.
right? Yeah.
It
That's why I
is. I
haven't
like
changed
that.
it. Yeah, it's and that was like it's got wrinkles in it in the background, and so I wish I could fix it, but
Dude,
I don't want to
honestly,
mess with it.
Nah, man.
it
No
looks
one can
dope.
tell. That's what
Yeah,
makes
thank
it
you.
punk rock, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Yeah, that's
man,
the
it's
faults are
fucking-
definitely part of it for real.
like it's the rawness of it
Yeah.
sometimes that
Captain
like
likes it raw, man. He's trying to cut it.
That shot, that shot was on my pool table I was telling you about, using those 8 feet of black lights above it. That's how that plant turned all purple.
that's what's up, dude.
Yeah,
That's what's
okay.
up. So again, you're a renaissance man, I would say. You do a little bit of everything. I mean, your page speaks for itself. Like the pictures, I mean, amazing. And you know, most importantly, I think you're a cultivation conversation listener, part of the
Hey,
family.
man. Hell
Now
yeah.
you're a
For real.
guest, and what you're
Honored,
in the
man, for
Discord,
real.
right? Like if people want to hit
Yes.
you up and
Yeah. I used to be more active in there, and it's just hard to do anything past the IG.
a
You
lot
know,
of social media, man. I know.
it's hard to be in
We're
there. And
all stretching ourselves
Discord,
thin
you
on
got to
social
pop in
media.
and see
I
what's
know.
happened in the last 10 minutes, and otherwise, anything you've seen the day before is gone.
It's gone. No,
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with.
Discord is a world where you live in the present.
You
okay?
live in, yeah.
You don't worry about what the conversations were before you can even scroll through. Like I don't care. Don't care what happened before. I'm just I
happening
look
now.
at what's happening now, and if I see anything that like interests me, I'm like, oh, all right. Like I don't know, man. It's a weird kind of thing,
Yeah.
but
No, it is cool, and I'm better with it now. You know,
you know,
it was hard at first.
yeah, it's one too that like if someone hits you up personally and like it gives you like a little red flag, then you know you gotta, you know, someone calling you, sending out the bat signal.
Uh-oh, I didn't know they had red flags in Discord.
No, I mean, like you see
Yeah,
that
no.
little icon on your home screen, like that you have, somebody tagged you or there's a
Yeah,
photo
Oh,
on
it's a
tag.
tag. Okay.
Yeah.
Discord, listen, like
I get all
Discord.
those at everyone's now. It's all at everyone.
Yeah, and then that's the only time when I'll have to
Yeah.
scroll through shit to be like,
Click
oh
at
God,
everyone, at
what was it? Who signaled me?
Who said what?
but no, that's my advice. Live in the moment on Discord. There's no need
that's
to
good.
like to
Good
get
advice.
into what happened in the past. The conversations that happened 5 minutes ago are done and over with.
Dead and gone.
But man, no, you're again, I wish time wasn't a constraint. I wish, we could do
We
this
just have to
all
come
night,
back.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
but have an open invitation,
Problem solved.
man.
I am totally down. Yeah, I'll fill up another 2 hours for you.
I think we all learned a lot. I sure did. I sure
We
did.
could have a
And we-
photography
I'll
competition. Have you
reach out
judge
for
it?
Sure.
It's not a bad idea, actually, man. I mean,
No, I think we can run with that.
that's not a bad idea. I think what would you say is the hardest picture? You said like the top down ones.
Those
or
are
the
hard. Those are the macros are the most
Macros
difficult.
are tough, man. The
Yeah.
macros always
Yeah,
get
bump
me.
shots are crazy because you got to find what focus point looks natural. Like if the tops are obviously out of focus and you're just below it in focus, it looks it's wrong. It just seems off, So I've had a lot of shots where I just lose those. I've taken 10 of them and none of them are the way I like them, So it's the top down and the macros. I probably have more shots that will never see the light of day than anything else, But it's like growing autos, It's the challenge of getting a shot,
Yes.
Right?
It's the roller coaster, man. It's
It is.
the thrill of the chase.
Okay.
It's kind of no. I hear you. I hear you, dude. No, this has been fun.
Fuck you,
It's
guys.
been fun. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You got like another minute to get anything else out you want to the listening audience in podcast land. Anything else?
No, yeah. Anybody needs anything, needs any help, advice with what I can help you with, feel free to reach out. Yeah, I like to
Love it.
share what I know. I don't know everything, but that's how we all this social media with growing is pretty crazy, pretty awesome. So share the knowledge you got with everybody.
Yeah, man. I don't think anyone's professing to know everything. I think
No,
Fuck no.
we share
learn
what
so
we
much from
got,
everybody.
you
Yeah.
know, and we all learn from each other. And I think a wise man once said, "Iron sharpens iron." Right? It's true. True,
That's
man. But no, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it.
let's wrap it up. Thank you to the listening audience. Thank you to the Cultivation Conversation co-hosts, G3, Monster. Thank you guys. Thank you. I'm sorry, Mad Hatter out there
Oh yeah.
pushing the buttons, turning the
Behind the
knobs.
curtain.
And thank you, of
Oh, yeah.
course, Basement Grown. You're a true OG, man. And yeah, we can all learn a lot from you. So
Oh yeah.
keep doing
All
your
right.
thing.
man.
And,
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
No, thank you. Yeah, anytime, man. You guys let me know.
Yeah,
And last piece of advice: don't get caught.
don't get caught.
Oh,
Turn
what
off
about your
notifications.
what about your no what November? What'd you want to do? No what November?
No, that's next time. Don't spoil next week's
Okay.
title.
Oh,
We're talking
okay,
about
cool.
No Nanner
Okay.
November.
No,
Don't
there you
worry
go.
about it. Don't worry
Don't
about it.
worry about it.
Good night, y'all. Good
All
night.
right, guys.
Peace.
Peace, brother.
See everybody. Sweet.